from 7 to 10. It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Happy Friday, everybody. Good morning. Welcome in. Time to get you set for the sports weekend, but we have a busy Friday show before the weekend comes. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you, broadcasting live and in color from the Family Leisure Studios. We're live and local every single day. Family Leisure is where family and fun come together. Check them out at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Always fun to walk around and see everything they have to offer, and they have all types of discounts to get your summer going. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. This is the Friday, May 30th, 2025 edition of the program, our final show for the month of May. This morning feels absolutely terrific. Boy, I wish every morning started out this way. It's 65 degrees, but there's a little bit of a coolness in the air that just feels terrific. It'll start to heat up today, and then in the coming days get a lot warmer. 78 for your high today, but we'll take that. Sunshine and clouds mixed. And then tonight for your Friday evening, clear skies, 61 degrees. Should be a perfect night for the Italian Fest in East Memphis. Saturday looks to be really nice as well. 84 degrees, though, for a high, so it starts to warm up. And then your Sunday looks to be nice with a sunny day, a little bit of clouds, 85 degrees. We're going to get to 90, it looks like, early next week. By the way, did it rain at all yesterday? Did you get any rain where you live?
Yesterday afternoon I did, yes.
You did? I didn't notice it. I don't think we got any rain where I live. Elijah, how about you?
Yeah, it poured out in Far East Memphis.
So it's exactly what I said yesterday morning. I said, it's going to rain somewhere, sometime. I don't know where, I don't know when, but I don't think it rained in my neck of the woods. And that's why I said I don't think it was where everybody was going to get saturated with rain. So coming up on the program today, we'll be busy as we always are. John Varlas, our Friday regular, will join us at 7:25. At 8:05, Brandon Marcello was supposed to be on with us last week. We rescheduled him. SEC spring meetings wrapped up yesterday, so a lot to talk about with Brandon. At 8:05, the National College Football reporter for CBS Sports and 247 Sports. Our friend Brad Logan's going to join us at 8:25 from Logan Media as we talk about the Oxford Regional. The college baseball tournament gets underway today. 64 teams vying for a national championship. And Ole Miss, again, hosting their regional. So we'll give you all the details. Brad will give us up-to-date information on everything that's happening with Ole Miss and Ole Miss athletics, and a lot going on. Last night, unfortunately, the softball team lost in the College World Series, losing a tight one where they only got a couple of hits, but it's a double elimination, so they're still alive. So we'll discuss that on the program. Then at 9:05, we'll play 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation, brought to you by Napa Cafe. Give you a chance to win a great prize package. And then at 9:30, our buddy Steve Macy, final game for the Showboats on Sunday. He'll be in to talk a little bit about that. They'll take on Birmingham, the big bad Birmingham Stallions, who Memphis beat earlier this year. 2 o'clock kickoff from Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. That is your lineup for today. Obviously, a lot of talk about the NBA playoffs and the New York Knicks staving off elimination last night. SEC spring meetings, as I mentioned. Memphis football schedule. We found out some of the start times, some of the kickoff times for some of their games coming up in the 2025 season. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. That's your lineup for today. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I finished watching the Dale Earnhardt documentary on Prime, and I would suggest not just NASCAR fans, but fans of sports, and you know the name Earnhardt, watch it. It's really incredible. It's down deep, in depth with family members, not just Earnhardt, the crash that killed him at Daytona, but his entire career, starting as a kid, trying to win over the affection of his father, and then Dale Jr. subsequently trying to do the same thing with Dale Sr. It is it's magnificent. It's produced by Ron Howard, and is it Brian Glazer, I think it is, his partner for all these years, producing so many great documentaries, great movies, TV shows as well. So it's really backed by top-of-the-line Hollywood people. But even though I knew all this, sometimes I forget the particulars of certain things. So Earnhardt, and this is not a spoiler because I think people know who know NASCAR, he won 7 Cup championships, which tied the king, and then Jimmy Johnson would later get 7. That's pretty wild that 3 guys have 7 points titles each. But anyway, the Daytona 500 always eluded him. And then in 2001, he wins the Daytona 500, which is fantastic. And it's the most exciting thing because all the crews are out there celebrating with him. Like all the competition is celebrating with him. They know how much he wanted this, and it was pressing on him. Anyway, you go to, and I'm not sure if that was 2001 or not, but 2001, I believe, was, let me double check. Yeah, 2001 was the Daytona 500 in which he was killed. So he won in, maybe it was 99. Anyway, in 2001, he dies on the track. It's a crash that, again, you look at it and you go, wait a minute. He died from that crash when you've seen him do there's crashes he's been involved in where he's rolling over like 30 times. It's just amazing, and walks away. And this one was killed. And then, of course, all the safety precautions now that are put into these automobiles to protect the head of the drivers and essentially the brain of the drivers. There has not been a casualty on the track since Earnhardt's death. But what was amazing about that race, Eli, is Michael Waltrip was now racing for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, as was Dale Jr. So he had 2 other drivers along with him. And he said, listen, this is before the race. He's talking to these 3 guys, or these other 2 guys, his son and Michael Waltrip, and he said, whoever gets the lead first, we're going to help the other one and push him to the win. So it's like, there's no way it's going to finish where those guys can all help each other. Here it is, man. Last lap. Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt, in order, doing exactly what he said. And Waltrip wins. Remember this, Darrell Waltrip, who was a real big opponent or competitor with Earnhardt Sr. for all these years. I mean, it seemed like at times they had bad blood, but he was, the adversary of Earnhardt Sr. So anyway, he is on the call. So he's rooting his brother on, man, to win. And Michael Waltrip, who was 0 for 400 and something, he never won. He wins the 500. Junior pushes him across. Dale, in the meantime, before they crossed the line, had gotten into a crash. That was the crash that killed him. So he dies in that whole thing, talking about pushing the guy who gets there first to the win. Michael's in victory lane. He's celebrating. And then you could see, they come over to Dale, who was also celebrating with Michael, to tell him. He rushes right out of there. Waltrip then finds out from another driver, Kenny Schrader, and then you can see the whole demeanor on his face. They got video of everything. It's incredible. And then they have the summer race at Daytona, the Pepsi 400. This is the race at Daytona after he had saw his father die in February, and Dale Jr. wins the race, pushed across by Michael Waltrip, who had the faster car, but knew that, no, I can't do this. I need to push him across. It is one of the best documentaries I have ever seen. Please do yourself a favor and watch it.
It's on what?
It's on Prime.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's 4 parts, but it flies by, 4 parts.
Have you seen anything about the spelling bee?
All I saw was a little note that the kid that was denied a win last year, or okay,
he got selected last year.
Okay, came back and won.
You didn't see the final word.
No, I haven't seen it.
All right, I'm going to test you here.
Oh, there's no way I'm getting it right.
You got to. But this is the word that he spelled to win it. I want to see how close you and Elijah can come. Elijah, hit it here.
Smarter than me.
Your word is éclaircissement.
Can you use that in a sentence, please?
The kid did not ask them that. He went right into spelling.
Okay, give me the. I'm gonna botch this.
Do it again. Play it again.
Your word is éclaircissement.
Éclaircissement. Do you know this already, Elijah?
I have no earthly idea.
I want to get both of your spellings, and we'll see who gets closer.
Éclaircissement.
So, like, write it down on a piece of paper.
However you got to do it. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to do it in your head and just say it. You can write it down and come up with your spelling. Éclaircissement, I believe, is the way he says that. You can play it as many times as you need. You can have him repeat it as many times as you need.
Your word is éclaircissement.
Sounds like a French spelling bee, quite frankly, but apparently this is English.
Oh my gosh.
Your word is éclaircissement.
Éclairci. But it's English. Okay, I got a weird.
Your word is éclaircissement.
What do you have, Elijah? You have a guess?
I don't even know where to start.
Okay.
I have like an idea, but it doesn't feel right at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it starts. I'm going to be wrong in the first letter. I think it starts with an E.
See, I thought it starts with an E.
What did you say?
An E.
That's what I said.
I thought you said A.
No, E. I think it starts with an E. Is that correct?
Do you have a spelling?
Yes.
Okay.
EHKLERSAYALL.
Wait, hold on. Do that again.
EHKLERSAYALL.
That's S-A-Y what?
ALL. I'm doing like
S-A-Y what?
EHKLERSAYALL. Like I'm just doing something weird.
Where it's éclaircissement or something like.
Oh, I thought it said.
Where did you get ending with y'all?
Oh, I thought it was small.
Your word is éclaircissement.
It sounds like he says small, doesn't it? You're saying it's smart?
It's smont.
Smont. Okay, hang on then. Smont. Okay.
All right, I have mine here.
All right. Wait,
Okay, let me get Elijah.
Don't say it yet.
Give me yours.
Okay.
All right, I went ECLARECISMAT.
Okay.
Your word is éclaircissement.
So silent T at the end. EHKLER.
Wait, hold on. E-H-K.
KLERSAYSMONT. I'm
All
sure
right, Elijah,
I'm not even in the
Elijah,
same galaxy.
Neither one of you is correct, obviously. But, Elijah, you are definitely the winner.
No surprise there.
The correct spelling is ECLAIRCISSEMENT.
I couldn't have been off worse, other than if I missed the first letter. I think it's the only thing I got right was the first letter.
Yeah, that sounds very French.
What does it mean?
The E at the beginning even has the little thing over it.
Accent mark.
Yeah. So I don't know what it means. Again, the kid didn't even and then he had just screwed up the word prior by and they were even told him to take your time. Because the one before he immediately started spelling it and he messed something up and he was like, oh gosh. And so the next one they're like, okay, take a deep breath. Let's just take your time with this. It says your word is éclaircissement. He goes, E. He just starts going immediately and he got that one right and he wins.
I assume he's Indian or Pakistani?
He is, I don't know what.
This word means an enlightening explanation of something, typically someone's conduct, that has been inexplicable.
John Halliburton?
There you go. I want you to start using that word more in your everyday life because now you know what it means. Certainly, that comes up a lot. Éclairci small.
I knew it had to be French, and you were saying English. So I was like all confused there, but it's not like it would even come close to that thing. I mean, there were letters.
I said it was French. It sounds French.
Oh, I thought you said.
I said it sounds like it's a French spelling bee, but this is the American spelling bee.
Oh, I was confused with what you said. I thought you were saying it sounds like a French word, but it's English. I'm like, okay, well, if it's English, then there's not going to be. Yeah, it's. There's no way if I had definitions, origins. You gave me 5 letters for free. There's no way I'm coming close to that one. So anyway, the kid got a little revenge from last year.
He did indeed. Got his win. He's got a second and a first.
Well, maybe
good for him.
Maybe that's an omen for the Edmonton Oilers. Maybe they'll get some revenge this year on the Florida Panthers because it is an absolute accomplishment by both these organizations because they are going to the Stanley Cup final in back-to-back years. Doesn't happen a lot, but it's happening this year. Edmonton polished off Dallas last night 6-3 to win that series 4-1. Florida had already advanced by beating Carolina 4-1, so 2 blowouts in their respective conference finals. So you have Edmonton and you have the Florida Panthers. In the NBA finals, we don't know yet. We know Oklahoma City's in by winning 4-1 over Minnesota. But last night, the Knicks did a little staving, as we thought they may do. They knocked off Indiana convincingly, 111-94. So the Pacers lead 3-2 now in the best-of-7 Eastern Conference Final. And it wasn't even close. The Knicks did what they had to do at home. They rode the wave of the fans at the Garden, although they had lost 2 previously in this series to the Pacers at the Mecca. But this was a game in which the Knicks, in a do-or-die mode, stepped up, and the Pacers struggled shooting the ball. 40% from the field for the game. So Game 6 Saturday in Indianapolis. Can they possibly do it? It's never happened before where a team lost 2 home games in a best-of-7 and came back to win. But last night, Brunson doing his thing, 32-5-5. Cat being more assertive, going to the hole instead of settling for threes, 24-13. The guy was questionable before the game started. I saw that and I started to laugh. I don't know if that was a little gamesmanship. Questionable. Come on, man. This isn't the regular season. This isn't load management. That dude was playing, man. And if there's any kind of questionable for any players going into Game 6, I'll laugh at that as well. But the Knicks did their job. We'll see what happens now.
Yeah, Indiana last night looked like a team that was satisfied to try and win it at home. Like they just didn't look really like the Pacers we've seen in the postseason. Like,
right.
It just kind of, you could tell maybe they just realized early it wasn't their night. But I mean, you had one starter get to double digits, and that was Siakam with 15. All of the starters were it was rough. I mean, the Knicks were horrendous from 3-point range and still were never challenged in the game.
8 of 29 for the Knicks, 27.6%.
Brunson was really the only guy that was able to shoot the ball well for them. And you figure Brunson, I mean, again, he's a fantastic clutch player. And in that situation on their home floor, you figured Brunson was going to have a strong game, and he did just that. And they get to go back to Indiana. I believe they'll lose Game 6 at Indiana, but they give themselves a chance. If they can get it back to the Garden in Game 7, who knows?
Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton, tough night. Only 7 shots. He was 2 of 7. Got to the free throw line 5 times, made 4. So he ends up with 8 points. And the leading scorer was Benedict Mathurin coming off the bench with 23. He had 20 in the 4th game of the series. So he's all of a sudden stepping up. We know how good that bench is, but yesterday they really were a non-factor. 23 by Mathurin, and a lot of those points at the end of the game, the junk points where it really didn't matter. Obi Toppin ends up going for 11. But what's still puzzling, and I know the plus-minus doesn't always tell the true story, and it certainly doesn't here, but it's fun to talk about. The starting five for the Pacers: Halliburton minus 23, Nembhard minus 25, Turner minus 20, Nesmith minus 20. Pascal Siakam played 34 minutes. He was a minus 1. He scored 15 points. It wasn't like he went for 40. That's strange. Again, he's a minus 1. Everybody else in that starting lineup is minus 20 or worse. You mentioned Brunson shooting 4 of 7 from 3, 12 of 18 from the field, goes for 32. Towns, again, assertive, really good, goes for 24. Good contributions from the other starters, not necessarily big point nights, but Mikal Bridges got you 12, got you 5 assists. And the defense was really good. It was a combination of good defense, but really, as you said, Indiana just didn't seem in step. And once they started to miss a lot of shots, it seemed like, I'm not going to say they went through the motion. They were trying to wrap it up. But after a while, Rick Carlisle decides to sit the starters. He knows it's over. They'll live to play another day. But if Indiana somehow lays an egg in Game 6, I don't see how again, I shouldn't say this. The Knicks lost the first 2 at home. They've been weird in the playoffs, the 20-point comeback wins in Boston in Game 1 and 2. But I would think that if the Knicks win Game 6, that they will win Game 7. And history will be made. But Indiana, man, everything is leaning towards them to come out like gangbusters tomorrow and wrap it up.
Yeah, I think they will take care of business on the home floor. But certainly the Knicks have a fighting chance.
The other thing is, I'm sure Oklahoma City is hoping that it does go 7. Keep playing. Keep knocking each other around. We'll sit here and rest, relax, do some game planning, then get back to practice and get ready for the NBA Finals, which does not start till next Thursday.
Yeah, I'm sure they would be fine with it going 7. I'm not sure that it matters much, but
in the end, it doesn't matter much. Does it?
Nonetheless, I'm sure they'll be happy if it goes. They'll be just fine if it goes 7. They'll also be just fine if it goes 6.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, we'll take our first time out of the show. When we come back, we'll be talking with our buddy John Varlas. I do want to tell you folks about All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. I don't know if you knew this, but 2026 is already here. The calendar wouldn't tell you that, but I could tell you that because the 2026 Equinox, the all-new 26 Equinox, already out and available for your purchase at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. How about Silverados? Nobody is more Silverados than All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. And May is your month of finance. Your new Silverado, you can get as low as 0.9%. That's less than 1%. Now, I know the calendar changes. June 1st is Sunday. Next week, we'll see what's going on at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, but I would imagine you're going to get more great deals on Silverados and all those great Chevrolets. Excuse me. If you work in law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, you're a teacher, a recent graduate, get an extra $500 bonus. All-Star's every pre-owned truck and SUV you're looking for. If you don't see it here, ask Jeff, and they'll find it for you fast. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, you bring it to All-Star Chevrolet this weekend, get the most money back for it today. But again, it has to be Olive Branch. Wherever this summer takes you, Drew and everyone here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch wish you and your family happy and safe travels. Remember, you can also see all these great vehicles and great deals online at allstarautogroup.com. So together, let's drive. Let's drive the All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rosengarten with Mark's Main Store Realtors. But sometimes bad is not quite the right word. Awful, that's more right. And when it comes to selling houses, that's a whole different story. Over the many years that I've been in the real estate business, I have refined and perfected my highly successful strategic marketing program. In golf, forget about my normal 5 strokes on the par 3. But remember the home I just closed in November with 2 offers at full list price. Okay, let's review. If you're thinking of selling, wouldn't you want an experienced player on your team to lead you to the closing table? Someone whose background is marketing and not merely putting a sign in the yard. And remember what people often say, that when you want the job done, call who? Shell Dunn. You can reach me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten, at MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546. That's 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. And go Tigers.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Motors spring sales event got thunderstruck, and the deals will shock you. All current inventory is not affected by new tariffs, so you can buy with confidence. And 2.99 for 60 months is available. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid, $349 a month, or buy for $41,115 with a combined range of 420 miles. 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, we Gossett, $28,545. 25 Mitsubishi Outlander, we Gossett, $32,130 or $499 a month. Plus, you always get peace of mind with our 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
SEO 11871, MSRP 46,000, Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545, Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, and family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC sports film, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey from kickoff to free throw to extra innings. Your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
This traffic report on Sports 56 is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South Pella Windows. The standard is affordable luxury.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's gotten a little bit heavier in the last few minutes coming down I-40 here across the Hernando de Soto Bridge, coming eastbound on I-40 as you work your way over from Crittenden County. It's still busy right now up through the Midtown area, busier than it was in the last few minutes, 240 north here at Lamar. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, serving Memphis now for over 40 years. Go by and see them this weekend and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We're having fun on a Friday. Welcome back, everyone. 7:29 is the time. You know what Friday means. Yeah, we're one step closer to the weekend. And also, an appearance from John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas on Daily. Check out John's prep sports coverage and much more at DailyMemphian.com. John is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis, where the pros and preps go to get their shot on Shoot 360 Memphis. Now here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
He is the award-winning prep reporter from the Daily Memphian, but so much more. He's John Varlas. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. He joins us every Friday. Was in Murfreesboro last week, wrapping up the spring fling, and now John is looking for work. How are you, man?
Looking for work.
Welcome in. Welcome in. John Varlas, of course, brought to you by the great folks at Shoot 360 Memphis.
Yes, sir. The summer's here. I am the I'm on the summer as Memorial Day to Labor Day calendar.
Smart. That is the correct summer.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So summer's here, and all you basketball players, it's time to as the kids say, get in the lab and start getting better and start getting ready for your school season next year. And there's no better place to do that than Shoot 360 Memphis, elementary school, middle school, high school. All levels they work with at Shoot 360 Memphis, and they will and regardless of what age you are, what level you are, you will get access to the same exclusive Shoot 360 technology that's used by pros like Steph Curry and others. The same great hands-on coaching, the same facilities. It's all the same for everybody, and they'll get you right no matter what age, what level, what your aspirations are. They'll make you better at the game of basketball. So give them a call, 901-779-3176. Mom and Dad, you can subscribe for a month. You can subscribe for multiple months, whatever you like, however you want to do it, they'll work with you. But go out and take a tour. See it for yourself. I'm sure you'll like it. And when you do, tell them JV sent you, or go online and use the promo code JV2025, and they'll take care of you. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Did you hear Thad Young on with us?
I did not. I haven't had a chance to listen to you guys much this week, so I apologize for that. I did hear you run down the guest list, and I'm sure Thad Young was an awesome guest. And people will argue with me about this. People have argued with me about this, but I would submit that Thad Young has had the best NBA career of any Memphian. And that includes Penny Hardaway, simply because of his longevity in the NBA. I mean, when you stay in the NBA, 17, 18 years,
17
like he
years.
has, had several successful seasons along the way. Certainly Penny Hardaway accomplished more, but he didn't stick around as long as Thad Young has. I mean, I think there's an argument to be made that Thad Young has had a tremendous career, more so than any other Memphian.
Over 14,000 points. And the reason I bring up Thad Young, for those who don't know, why am I bringing him up? He is one of the owners of Shoot 360 Memphis. But, yeah, you can certainly make that debate. And I think I've had that debate before about Memphians who have gone on to play in the NBA and their careers. But, yeah, Thad, I mean, he talked to us about, what did he say, Eli? I was hoping maybe I can get 5 years, and then 5 years after that, and all of a sudden it's 17 years. That's a long career. To stick around that long in the top level basketball league in the world, that says an awful lot.
Oh, it does. It does. I have, I've gone back and forth with people about, Cameron Payne, and people say, oh, he's a scrub, he's a bench warmer, he's this, he's that. Well, he's been in the NBA what now, 10, 11, 12 years for Cameron Payne. I mean, I'm somebody that puts a lot of value on longevity. If you're sticking around at the highest levels, Greg, like what you just said, for that long, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said with that. So, hats off.
It all depends on what do you look at Penny Hardaway being an all NBA guy for a shorter period of time versus a guy who's never all NBA or had won any awards, but did it for a longer period of time. It's an interesting argument to make.
Well, Penny, looking up his numbers, 14-year NBA career, but the last 4 or 5, he really struggled with the knee, and he ends up with 12,573 points. That's 1,500 less than Thad. Now, it's not all just about points. Obviously, Penny was all NBA and an all-star how many times? 4 times?
Well, sure, and he's arguably an NBA Hall of Famer too. I mean, his accomplishments speak for themselves. They speak volumes. But like I said, like Eli said, he said it best. It just depends on what you value. And to me, there's a lot of value in showing up to work.
I agree.
Every day, doing your job, being a solid citizen and doing that day after day, year after year. And, for 15, 18 years,
you're right.
I think there's a lot to be said for that.
You can absolutely make that argument. All right. Speaking of arguments, do you have a bone to pick?
I've got a huge bone to pick, and I didn't know this woman existed until 18 hours ago, and now I am furious at Karen Weekly, the head coach of the Lady Vols softball team. I'm just beside myself with her decision making from yesterday. So to recap, they're playing Oklahoma, which is, apparently Oklahoma softball is like the Patriots and the 85 Bears and the Golden State Warriors and Barcelona and Real Madrid all rolled into one.
Eli's favorite sport.
They're the most dominant team in sports.
His favorite sports team.
They're going for 5 straight. Nobody else is going for 5 straight.
That's what I'm getting at. They're a super team and they're unstoppable apparently. Yet at the same time, they're playing Tennessee yesterday. Tennessee has them down 3-1, bottom of the 7th inning. Oklahoma gets men on first and third, right? There's 2 outs. The best hitter for Oklahoma is coming to the plate. She's hit a home run earlier in the game, their only run up to this point. They're trailing 3-1, and her home run provided the only run. So there's women on first and third. There's a base open. And this Karen Weekly elects to pitch to Oklahoma's best hitter. They got a freshman coming up behind her in the order. Tennessee has their best pitcher on the hill or in the circle. It's not a hill in softball, it's a circle. So, I like my chances going against a freshman as opposed to the best player on the team who just burned you earlier in the game. But no, Karen Weekly says, well, we'll pitch to Babe Ruth here with the game on the line.
Ella Parker.
We'll pitch to Ella Parker here, Aaron Judge, in pigtails here with the game on the line. And predictably, she knocks it to straightaway center field. Oklahoma.
She blasted that. She got all of that one.
Oh, she is like, it's crazy.
She got her money's worth.
But see, the problem,
Oklahoma wins. And so I'm very frustrated with Karen Weekly. And again, I didn't know who this woman was until about 18 hours ago.
I am not the only manager to make bad decisions.
However, other people would say if you walk her, you're putting the tying run in scoring position.
You are, but you're also not pitching to the best player on the team who's already hit a home run against you earlier in the game, and you're pitching. You got your best pitcher Pickens on, going against a freshman. I like my odds. I mean, I just like my odds.
But at least pitch around her. Don't give her something that she can hit 500 feet.
Well, yeah, they threw a 65-mile-per-hour pass ball. Fastball right down central, like Mike Shannon used to say. I mean, it was, served it up on a platter for her. I mean, I've never been so dismayed at the end of result of a softball game as I was.
I was so excited.
Oklahoma
I went crazy. I thought Oklahoma was good. I was like, man, they're actually going to lose.
But
the problem with the whole inning was the Pickens. You had 7, 8, 9 coming up. You just couldn't allow any of them to reach, and she walks the leadoff hitter. She walks the 7 hitter.
Yeah.
That got them to the top of the order. Those 2 hitters at the top of the order are absolutely incredible. Like, they're just absolute machines, and she allowed them to come play. She retires 7, 8, 9. That girl Pickens, by the way, who I did not know existed until yesterday. She holds the record for fastest pitch ever. She's broken that many times this year. I mean, she's out there.
Eddie Feiner?
She's out there in the 7th inning, still at 120 pitches. She's still 75 miles per hour. 75 mile an hour coming from that close. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how you react to that.
Well, Ella Parker certainly didn't have any trouble reacting to it.
She did not have. The first pitch to her was a terrible call. They called strike 1 on her on the high pitch, the pitch before.
Yeah, so that's my rant on that. I don't know. I think that I hate to second guess an accomplished coach like Karen Weekly, but
they walk her. The freshman gets a base hit and it ties the game. Everybody's going to say, "Well, why'd you put the tying run in scoring position?"
Well,
but you could talk your way out of that one better than the other one.
But did you see where the outfielders were playing? By the way, when she came to the plate. Because they were like making sure no doubles. They all had their backs against the wall. Like, they were just standing back against the wall. Like, she literally can't hit it overhead unless it's home run, and then she hit it a mile and a half over the center fielder's head.
Exactly. I mean, you still got some splaining to do afterwards either way, but it's a little bit easier to say, yeah, I'm not letting Babe Ruth hit a home run. I'm going to pitch to the freshman.
That seems pretty cut and dry.
She'd also retired the girl the last 2 times she had faced her.
Yeah, I mean, look, she's not the only one to make a questionable coaching decision. All right, it's happened for years, and it will happen for years to come, but I can understand where John's coming from. I'm not allowing the best player or maybe the best home run hitter, and I don't know too much about them, but I'm not allowing that person to beat me.
I would think, you can. I mean, you can argue it both ways, like Eli says, but yeah, I'm taking the bat out of the best player's hands and taking my chances with a freshman.
And I understand that point. that freshman is the number 3 hitter in Oklahoma softball lineup.
I'm sure she's good.
I'm going to guess she's not real bad.
Right.
No,
right.
Because she's probably done some things.
But I'm guessing also the Tennessee pitcher's pretty damn good too. They're in the World Series. I mean,
she's a first team All-American.
They're all good. They're all good players.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. You wrapped up coverage of the Spring Fling with a state championship for Lakeland Prep. We talked about them earlier in the week. Eli's stepson goes, right, attends Lakeland Prep.
It is Lakeland parent, Eli Savoy.
It is an amazing story to not have a senior class for this team led by Coach Godwin,
Chris Godwin, yeah.
Chris Godwin, congratulations, to win a state title. And we are in a the whole state has great baseball teams. We have a lot of great baseball teams and baseball players in this area. For what they did is pretty remarkable. I would imagine, John, you could tell me this because you cover preps. One of the top prep stories of the year to date, right?
Well, you certainly, yeah, definitely. It's going to be up there. When you consider everything, when you would consider the whole thing in totality, Greg, like you said, no senior class at Lakeland. It opened in 2022, so they'll graduate their first senior class, next year, 2026. So everybody on the team is either juniors or sophomores or freshmen. First time in the state tournament, so even there, there's an adjustment period. They're playing, programs that are way more established, programs that have more state tournament experience. In fact, the team they played in the championship game was the 2024 runner-up. So there's a huge, experience advantage. So you factor that in together. You factor the youth of Lakeland Prep in. It's an incredible story, and then you add in the fact that that the entire schedule for baseball was pushed back a day. It was the Division I games would have ended on Friday, but they pushed the whole schedule back to Saturday because it rained really hard on Tuesday, and they didn't want to get in a situation where a team would have to play 3 games in one day or something like that. So they just wiped out the whole Thursday schedule or the whole Tuesday schedule and said, we'll push it back to Saturday. So you factor that into the equation. Chris Godwin and his wife were going to fly out to Colorado on Saturday morning and go see Brad Paisley out at Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado. So they got money tied up in flights. They've got money tied up in concert tickets, because, even the most optimistic, say, well, even if some miracle we get to the championship game, we'll be done Friday. We'll be back in Lakeland Friday night. We'll go to the airport Saturday, go see Brad Paisley. It's all good. So he has to miss, so now he has to miss his vacation, his concert, cancel all his flights, lose a bunch of money because they're playing on Saturday. But he said, I would do it all over again.
Gladly give that up for the state championship.
Gladly do it all over again.
You know what? Somebody needs to contact Brad Paisley, right? I imagine he's a Nashville guy. It's a state champion in the state of Tennessee. He hears this story. You never know what a big star like that would do for him, because I feel bad. I didn't know that until you just said that.
Yeah, it's a great story, and of course, he would do it all over again in a heartbeat for a state championship. But it's just one of those things. You plan as best as you can, and it ended up costing him some money, but he got a state championship out of it. And Coach Godwin gets to coach his son Brett, who's Brett Godwin, who's a junior. He's the best athlete out there at Lakeland Prep. He's kind of a throwback. Shortstop and pitcher on the baseball team, quarterback on the football team. Plays on the basketball team. So he's kind of a Johnny everything over there. Really good athlete. I mean, Ryan Pitts is a great player over there. I mean, the kid they had that pitched in the championship game, Olivier Grandchamp.
Spell that.
Well,
Eli, spell that.
Oh, that's easy to spell. I mean, it's spelled.
Where did Godwin come from?
He had been an assistant previously at Covington. He actually won a state championship at Covington as an assistant the last time Covington won a state championship. It's also really nice too that he won a state championship as a player back in the 80s at Skyview Academy, which is now closed. And of course, the coach back then at Skyview Academy was Phil Clark, who passed away in January. Yeah. So, so Coach Godwin was really emotional about the game, thinking about Coach Clark. Coach Clark's pitching coach, Dave Locke. He kind of helped Lakeland a little bit this year with some of the scouting and some, motivation and that kind of stuff. So there was a Coach Clark connection. I mean, just a lot of, good storylines weaving all together. The players did the thing where they all dyed their hair blonde. I mean, just a really great story. I mean, they did it upright, Lakeland Prep. A lot of fans from Lakeland Prep. They were loud and proud and supportive, and it was a great contingent up there. Just a really neat story for a young program, and now the pressure's on because you win a championship and literally everyone is returning.
Coach, losing anybody to graduation? No, because we don't have graduation.
Right.
we don't have that yet.
Yeah. I mean, they're not jumping into the transfer portal.
So barring any unforeseen circumstances, they literally aren't scheduled to lose anybody from a championship team.
Great.
So it certainly bodes well for the future.
I was wondering about this. So they're class 2A?
Yeah.
Like the fact that they're now going to add an extra class into the school, could that bump them up a class? Or how are they classified based on attendance when you don't have a full class?
Well, it's classified based on the number of kids in your school.
Yeah.
So the number of so however many kids they have currently enrolled in the school, whatever that number is, it classifies them as 2A for baseball. Now, in the future, they could get bigger in the future.
But it wouldn't happen for next year?
No, because the TSSAA does its classification and cycle. So it's like a 2-year cycle. So they basically take attendance of every school in the state every 2 years. Okay. They check where the numbers are.
So the earliest would be 27.
And they adjust accordingly, yeah. So I believe I'm virtually certain where I say they'll be in 2A again next year. But then the next time they do the enrollment, the TSSAA, then they could most likely will move up.
We had a whole class.
Great story. We got more stories to talk about with John Varlas when we return. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Billy Lavin, defender for University of Memphis Soccer. We finance your auto loan with Southern Security and have no payment for 60 days. Southern Security will finance up to 115% of the current value of your vehicle for up to 72 months. To find out how to put more cash in your pocket, call our member service team at 901-452-7900 or apply on our website at southernsecurity.org. Southern Security is a proud supporter of the University of Memphis Athletics and 901 Women. Federally insured by NCUA.
You want it? We got it at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. How about a new ride for under $6 a day? 2025 Kia K4 LXS, $169 a month. And peeps will be staring at your 2025 Kia K5 GT-Line, $185 a month. Plus, get vacation ready with seating for 8 and 2025 Telluride EX, $378 a month. With more power, larger cargo area than Nissan Pathfinder. All $49.99 to its signing 24-month lease, and they're all equipped with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Go see Bobby J. He's waiting to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 25840, K5 S5312 782, MSRP 29330, Telluride SG 597 965, MSRP 43410, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 must finance through KFA, excludes tax title and license with approved credit dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/2/25.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free green egg grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms, enjoy endless hot water, and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow-smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of area jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Area just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Area boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Morning on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:51 the time. Talking with John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. Coming up at 8:05, Brandon Marcello will join us, national college football reporter for CBS Sports and 247 Sports. So in the coming weeks, obviously the off time of prep sports, there'll be a number of different things that we'll be talking to John about. We've done it for years now with JV. But when you look back now at the scholastic year, which has been completed, going back to the fall of 24 all the way through the spring fling here in 2025, as far as stories that you've had a chance to write and people enjoy, what comes to mind as maybe 2 or 3 of your favorites?
Well, I mean, we touched on this a little bit last week, but it's been a really successful year, team-wise, with lots of teams winning championships, and particularly on the girls' side. I think one thing that stands out would probably be Houston soccer, not only winning a state championship, but also finishing undefeated, and knocking off, the Oklahoma Sooners of Tennessee girls soccer. Bearden High School, they beat them, in the regular season to end. Bearden had like a 68 or 69 game unbeaten streak, and Houston beat them during the regular season.
Was Houston nationally ranked? Did they do that for high school
definitely
soccer?
Nationally ranked. They may have even been top ranked according to some polls. I just don't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, I mean, that's a great story. And then the way they won, going into penalties, and Houston's goalkeeper, Layla McNamee, she broke her hand earlier in the match, and yet she's still out there, in saving penalties with a broken hand, just showing lots of guts, lots of determination. I mean, stuff like that is always going to stick out in my memory. You got, obviously Mace winning a football championship, Cedric Miller, a great guy, and somebody who's been at the game for, over 20 years without even, without really getting close to winning a championship. So he finally gets one at a school with, not much in the way of resources or things like that. I mean, that's a great story. You think about the Morrow twins, Jarrett Morrow and Gerald Morrow, going back to Melrose. And
friends of the show.
Oh, the Morrows are friends of the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're awesome guys, and I think they're going to, have another great team coming up, and obviously we'll have lots of chance to talk about that going forward. But they come in and say, we want to bring the some of the smiles back to Orange Mound. We want to bring some of the happiness and some of the pride back to the community, and they did exactly that. I mean, a lot of people come in and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. People have these grandiose visions and plans, and they they never come to pass. But these guys came in and did exactly what they said they were going to do. They took Melrose to the state championship game, finished runner up, and and they're building that program, and they've got a great chance, like I said, to go right back next year. So stuff like that is going to stick out. But yeah, it's always, Greg, for me, it's it's always the people. It's the people you meet and get to tell their stories. You talk to a goalkeeper that's got a broken hand and she saves the decisive penalty in the state championship game. That's not nothing. That's something. That's
Absolutely.
something. And the Lakeland thing with Coach Godwin and his travel plans. Those are they're little things, but that's the stuff that I'm personally always going to remember.
Yeah, so many fun stories that you wrote about. So many great stories involving these athletes and triumph. And there's also with triumph, there's tragedy. Talking about this on our segment with you, John, and you writing about. I mean, just off the top of my head, this scholastic year. Again, I'm going back to September through now. Phil Clark, Terry Tippett, Mike O'Neill, maybe others that are not right now in my mind.
I mean, those are three for sure. I mean,
huge pillars of our sports community.
Absolutely,
over the years.
Bubba Luckett stepping down, but because of his health, and he's he's got some health stuff that he's dealing with that everybody knows about. So yeah, we did we did lose some great folks this year for sure, and that's that's the sad part of it. But yeah, you make a great point, Greg. When these people pass away, it's sad, but you get to talk to the people they influenced. All the guys that Terry Tippett coached, the Dane Bradshaws of the world, and his assistant coach, the coaches and things like that. You get to talk with them and hear their stories and their reminiscences. Same with Phil Clark. You get to talk to Collins Day and some of the other former players, and Jeff Hopkins and some of the guys that knew Coach Clark really well, and hear the stories that they know that I don't know, but I can share them with our readers. It's it's really cool, and it's really gratifying, and it's one of the things that certainly makes the job special. I tell people all the time, it's not the wins and the losses necessarily, and you can get caught up with wins and losses even in high school and put too much emphasis on that. But it's the people, it's the relationships. It's, getting to tell these stories and share these stories is what makes it kind of special.
A person texted in, I don't know if you can maybe confirm this or deny this. I don't know. They said they're not 100% sure, but they believe that Houston won their first soccer championship without seniors.
That would have been before my time, so that may be true. Okay. But no, I can neither confirm or deny that. I want to say that probably Houston's first championship would have been around 99 or so, but I don't know off the top of my head when Houston opened.
When did Houston open?
That's what I said. I don't know off the top of my head when Houston opened. So that texter may be right, but I wasn't on the beat then, and I do not know. So I will plead ignorance
Come on,
on that.
Farless. I thought you knew everything. I thought you were the high school encyclopedia.
Well, plenty of time this summer to do some research, so we'll get you to work.
I got to tell you, I appreciated the spelling bee earlier. I actually got the first 5 letters of that, and then it went completely off the rails.
It went off the rails.
But I was thinking in the car when I was.
You got the first 5 correct.
That's impressive.
I did, but I was thinking on the car on the way up here. When I was in the 5th grade, I won the spelling bee at Raleigh, Egypt Elementary. Out there in Raleigh, and I actually went to Memphis State for the city spelling bee.
Did you really?
About that? Johnny Speller.
Wait a minute. I haven't got to the punchline yet. So yeah, I represented my school in the county spelling bee, but when I won the school spelling bee, my winning word was human.
Winning word?
That was the winning word. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah,
a little bit different, huh?
It was a little bit different.
They decided to pitch them, Eli.
Yeah.
Who were you going against? I lost on these words.
Obviously, a bunch of dummies, right?
Apparently me. I think they were going against.
Who the hell were you against? 2-year-olds? Come on.
Shoot, I'd have trouble. I'd have trouble spelling right now. Pharaohs, the nickname for Raleigh, Egypt.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a horrible speller.
Yeah, that's an easy one because in the newsroom there when I used to work at the Commercial Appeal and they had the Memphis Pharaohs, the indoor football team.
There you go.
Somebody would there was like a run, lots of running jokes in a newsroom, and one of them was somebody would pronounce it Pharaohs, so that way you would know how to spell it.
There you go.
Pharaohs, Pharaohs. So that's how I know that one. But yeah, no, not a lot of great spellers at Raleigh Egypt Elementary back in the
But you were the king.
In the late 70s.
Your word is the. Can you use that in a sentence, please? I don't know. I'm not sure about this. By the way, Matt texted. He says he thought Houston was open in the early 90s. Raider Corey says it was 1989.
Okay, I just don't know. I mean, all these guys they all sound plausible.
89-99 was the decade where John just got lost up there, and with all the stuff that was happening with the hippies and all that. He just got away from the world for a decade.
I was on a
found his own.
I was on a commune like the Beatles, right?
Yes, he was gone for a decade, so we forgot that one.
No, I just don't remember. I mean, like I said, all these things sound totally plausible. I can maybe try to look it up and come back to you.
You're not going to look it up.
No, I'm not.
Don't lie.
I'm going to go watch.
Don't lie
it's the
about
summer of John.
Go watch Oklahoma softball.
I'm going to go watch my Lady Sooners destroy the competition.
We got to run. We'll do this again next Friday.
Thanks.
He is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. Follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. When we come back, Brandon Marcello talks some SEC and college football. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Winton Road.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Tito's handmade vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
June is always a month of celebration. People are getting married. People are graduating. And those people need somewhere to do their celebrating. And we offer up Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown bar. You could take your group to a chain restaurant or bar, but those places don't have a tenth of the charm of Bell Tavern. Chains are sterile and impersonal. Bell Tavern is a cool oasis for those places. Signature cocktails, ice-cold beer, and the friendliest staff in town. This is a chance for you to show off your knowledge of Memphis, to impress out-of-towners by taking them to the coolest bar they've been to in a long time. Unless, of course, they go to Bell Tavern.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's got a little bit heavier in the last few minutes near the 101 connector on I-40 going westbound. Over there passing Watkins as it tries to build down I-40 west coming in from Fayette County into Shelby County. It's gotten heavier in the last 10, 15 minutes on 385 Billmore Parkway coming inbound, trying to get up on that ramp there to 240 near Mount Moriah. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by and see them this weekend and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck when you're on-time traffic.
This is a
original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:03 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Friday, May 30th, 2025 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently a very comfortable 64 degrees, but the temperature will rise to about 79 today. Sun and clouds mixed. And then tonight, clear skies with a low of 60 degrees. Tomorrow and Sunday, we're looking at mid-80s with mostly sunny skies, a little bit of clouds, but a very, very minimal chance of precipitation. Hour number 2 of the program brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler, your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, closed on Sunday. Every Monday and Friday, they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know that according to some social media posts by Dane Danger, he is starting to work out for NBA teams, although he continues to wait to see if the waiver that has been requested for another year of eligibility will be granted by the NCAA. But according to, again, social media, he worked out for the Milwaukee Bucks and the Washington Wizards and maybe some other teams we don't know about. So Dane getting ready for a professional career just in case, and more than likely it will be the case, he doesn't get the waiver from the university or from the NCAA for the University of Memphis. James Gaddis Jewelers, for all your engagement needs. You're looking to get engaged this summer, this fall, you make sure that you head on over to James Gaddis Jewelers and check out all the great engagement rings, wedding rings, personally designed wedding sets that they have, plus all types of other jewelry like watches and necklaces and earrings and pendants, one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis Jewelers. Go visit them today, tomorrow. Closed on Sunday, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick. On the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Lots happening. Well, there was a lot happening in Destin, but was there? There was a lot of talk going on a number of different important topics. But what was accomplished at the SEC spring meetings? Brandon Marcello was one of the many journalists and media members who was there covering the events of the week. The national college football reporter for CBS Sports and 247 Sports. You can follow Brandon on Twitter at @BMarcello. And Brandon joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, like I said, it seemed like a lot of things were discussed, a lot of very, very important topics, but nothing was finalized or really accomplished. Were things expected to happen as far as a finality, as far as the decision-making, or was this all the process of just discussing, getting in a room, kind of throwing things off the wall, and then getting ready for, hopefully, votes sooner than later?
There was some hope that there would be some agreement potentially on what the CFP format should look like in the future. Administrators within the SEC have been very much leaning toward the idea of a 16-team format with 4 automatic qualifiers for the SEC and the Big Ten. And for that matter, the Big Ten and SEC administrators have really been on the same page with that for a couple of months now. But instead, the coaches were provided that format and a couple of others and said, you know what, we don't prefer that. We prefer the 5+11 format, which would be 5 automatic qualifiers for the 5 highest ranked conference champions plus 11 at-large berths. Mm-hmm. And they prefer that. And now the ADs are sitting there going, well, maybe we need to reconsider some things. But again, this was a situation where this was the first time that a lot of the coaches were seeing the data of what it would look like under multiple college football playoff formats and how many SEC teams would probably get in, the pros and cons of all these. So I think they're very reactionary in all this, and over time, the next couple of weeks, they're going to be able to settle down, look at everything. But from an SEC perspective, there's a lot of outside noise around here about the 5+11. The ACC and Big 12 have banded together and said that's what would be good for college football. The SEC was pretty kind of reactionary this week, especially Greg Sankey, the commissioner, which is unlike him. and was really kind of going after him a little bit, saying that it seems like he only gets the questions about the good of college football and all of this. And, he's doing his due diligence by providing this data and these formats to his coaches and ADs, but I don't think he was expecting quite the reaction that the coaches had against the 4 automatic qualifiers, and that has certainly sparked a lot of uncertainty here. And to be quite honest, every other conference right now knows kind of what they want and what format they want, but the SEC is still now sitting here all of a sudden undecided, and they've got the voting control along with the Big Ten, and everybody's turning to the SEC now, and suddenly they've become maybe the authority on what college football playoff and the college football as a sport will look like in the future.
Along that line, what would you say kind of the relationship is right now between the SEC and the Big Ten?
I think they've been walking lockstep for most of the way, and I think the SEC just kind of tripped over a rock a little bit this week, and they're probably going to try and catch back up with the Big Ten and see if they can maybe go back along to agreeing on the same format. I mean, listen, the Big Ten ADs, administrators, met again on the phone after all this came out, because they were like, "What is going on down there?" They did not expect this, and I was told last night by a couple of sources in the Big Ten that the ADs have not changed their stance on what they want. They want the 4 automatic qualifiers still, and it's going to be fascinating to watch over these next few weeks what kind of discussions are had among the CFP executives, which is all the commissioners in the FBS, and what that leads them to on June 18th, because June 18th is the next important date in all this. That's when the CFP executives all meet in person in Asheville, North Carolina, and they're going to discuss all of this. And I'm sure that several, if not all of the FBS conferences, maybe other than the SEC, are going to sit down and go, here's what we prefer now. This is the formats we want. What do you want, SEC? And I asked Greg Sankey yesterday, do you believe that the SEC is going to be settled on with a format that they sponsor? And he said, we'll see. So it's a weird time. It's a weird time always in college athletics, but now especially because I think the Big Ten's kind of sitting there kind of shaking their head going, what the heck is going on down south?
But isn't that a problem when one, or in this case maybe 2 conferences, has too much power, that they right now could control what is going to happen? You have a Brett Yormark, as you know, Brandon, came out, I guess, yesterday as they had Big 12 meetings down in Orlando. And for those who didn't hear this quote, I'm going to read the quote. He said, I'm about fairness. There's a lot of conversations about AQs. We want to earn it on the field. I think 5+11 format does that. It's fair. It's what our fans want. They don't want an invitational. They want a true playoff system, and we have that right now. We need to put these multiple AQs and take it out of the conversation and focus on what's right with college football. I think 5+11 does that, and that's our preference. But again, everything you read is the Big 12 and the ACC certainly don't have the clout that the SEC and the Big 10 has. So his point is well taken, but I mean, who has the power? When it's all said and done, people look at Sankey as the most powerful figure in collegiate football and in collegiate sports, for that matter.
Yeah, I know people look at him for that, but I think the actual most powerful person is Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner.
Okay.
Because he's the one who's kind of pitched this 4AQ thing and had brought the SEC on board. The SEC wasn't all that warm to the idea at first about 4AQs. Mm-hmm. And Big Ten kind of said, let's do this. Let's get together on this. Also, when you mentioned that the Big Ten and SEC had the most power of the CFP format, that is correct, of course, because a year ago, all of the conferences signed a memorandum of understanding saying the Big Ten and SEC have voting control now. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the case. You used to have unanimity in all this. Now the SEC and Big Ten just say, hey, this is what we want to do. This is what we're doing. But there's other language in that contract saying they have to negotiate in good faith with the other conferences. But in the end, the SEC and Big Ten can push things through. But now what's so interesting about this is the SEC on the same page as the Big Ten? It seemed like it just 5-6 days ago. But I do wonder, like, I've seen so often here at spring meetings in Destin that the coaches will disagree with something with the ADs because, I'm going to be quite honest with you, coaches really don't have the time to sit around and look at CFP formats and all this stuff.
Right.
And so, like, all of a sudden, they're like, what the hell is this? We don't want this. And, and in the end, who has the final say? It's always your boss.
Yeah.
And the AD's the boss. So usually they end up warming up to it and the ADs start getting what they want. But this is a little bit different because there's more outside pressure to change and be with the 5-11 format. And I'll tell you what, I think it was perfect timing on the ACC and Big 12's part to say, hey, this is what's good for college football, this 5-11. And a lot of fans agree with it across the country in all conferences. And now you got the coaches saying this in the SEC, and all of a sudden you're starting to pick up some traction here. And it's fascinating.
If they don't go the route of the 4 automatic qualifiers, and it ends up, if it were to somehow be the 5-11, is there any chance that the SEC goes to the 9-game schedule with the 5-11 format?
I think it'd be much more difficult for them to do so in convincing the ADs and the coaches to do so because they don't want the 5-11 format, the ADs for that matter, mostly because they don't trust the selection committee. That much was made clear here this week as well in Destin. Florida Athletics Director Scott Strickland just straight up said, we don't need a selection committee. And then yesterday, there's only a few of us left here, reporter-wise, for the final press conference, and Greg Sankey walks in, and his staff starts handing out these 7-page pamphlets to everybody that goes over why the SEC is the strongest football conference and all these analytics. But the analytics are things that the committee doesn't use, which is mostly strength of record and strength of schedule. And he was talking about how there are other variables and things that maybe the committee should consider looking at. And, of course, all these variables are ones that favor the SEC, right? They're number one in all these categories. Also, what was interesting is that 4 of the 5 analytics that he gave us are either owned or they're housed by ESPN, their media partner, and also what the CFP has signed a contract with. So it's just, it's just interesting times, man. It's just I did not expect the SEC to be like have to come in here and almost like pitch themselves to America again.
Yeah, Brandon.
And I guess that's what happens when you don't win a national title 2 straight years. Their egos are hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the case. But I was reading some of the quotes from I guess that thing that you saw, like not like any other and stands alone and. Just why they have to sell themselves. I think anybody who knows college football knows what the SEC is from.
Somebody once said it just means more.
It just means more. That's the old saying. I guess that still works. But you're right. The Big Ten, when it's all said and done, they won the last couple of natties. So I don't know. I guess maybe they have to sell themselves all over again. But yeah, I thought it kind of got off the rails a little bit with all that stuff.
No, I agree, absolutely. I just did not quite expect it to be this chatty this week. I mean, we've got so much going on in college athletics anyway. I mean, we're talking about NCAA governance here this week, the House settlement, of course, which, goodness gracious, we're still waiting to see if it's going to get final approval, implementation committees with the new organization that the power conferences are forming right now to oversee the House settlement and NIL and all of that, plus this 8 versus 9 and the CFP debate. And every time the athletic directors and coaches were filtering out of these meetings, it was always just like something different. I mean, hell, Brian Kelly, the LSU coach, comes out and out of a meeting and goes, hey, I think I speak for all the coaches when I say we want to get a contract with the Big Ten and play 1 Big Ten game every year. But what?
Right.
When did that happen? And then we go talk to a few other coaches, and a few other coaches are like, I don't want that. I mean, it's just... everybody's got their own agendas, but I will say that the one undercurrent here is that there was a talking point and narrative that a lot of the coaches and ADs had really followed, which was we need changes with the CFP selection committee no matter what happens, because they feel like the SEC's not getting the credit it deserves and all that, which, again, it's crazy to me in a lot of ways, because they're talking about 3 lost teams, Ole Miss, Alabama, and South Carolina, teams that had some bad losses, including, especially Alabama, which was that team left out, where they just lost to a bad Oklahoma team and also lost to Vanderbilt. So why is that so controversial?
Right, right.
You didn't necessarily see a year ago the ACC, their spring meetings dominated the entire time by Florida State being left out of the playoff. Did you?
No.
Yeah.
And what that selection committee needs to change and all that. It's just very strange.
Well, what do they suggest,
so
Brandon?
hyper-focused on this.
What do they suggest they do? What the selection committee, what do they do differently to appease them?
They want different data points to be maybe utilized. Again, they weren't very clear on what exactly they want. They just said, here's some things that make us look real good. And the selection committee needs to change things, but they didn't actually say they need to use this data point and this data point to use it. And the other thing is, we ask ADs, I asked ADs, and everybody like, do you think there should be more of a computer formula in there? Here's the other thing, guys, that really, I don't know. Maybe I'm just really dumb. But, if you look through history here, if the BCS, I hate to say those 3 letters, the BCS formula was still around, its top 25 compared to the selection committee's top 25 at the end of the year, very similar. Yeah. Not much changes. So what the hell are we all upset about right now?
That's what I said yesterday. Like they used to have the computers pick it. They didn't like that. Now they got people picking it. They don't like that. Like what I don't know what's next. I don't know what else you can do. Like at some point, somebody's got to pick these teams. And if it was a 16 team,
and that's why the SEC wants these AQs to take that out. I take the selection committee out of it.
And if it was a 16 team playoff last year, they would have had 5 in anyway. So they wouldn't even complain if it was a 16 team playoff. So the other thing is the portal deal. Do you see us getting? Will these coaches win out? Will we only have one portal window for football?
Yeah, that's going to happen. I think it's going to get through. I think it's going to get through the NCAA and everything. And I think that portal window will end up being what the AFCA, the American Football Coaches Association, proposed back in January or February, which is going to be one portal window, January 2nd through January 12th. The SEC coaches all discussed it this week. That's the dates they want. And the Big 12 coaches discussed it this week, and that's also what they want. The ACC was kind of split on maybe the spring or January, but I think that a lot of people seem to think that it makes sense to do it in January because you can build your roster then and go through the spring and you have your team instead of having to build it during the summer and then wait until August to actually get all your guys on the field.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Brandon Marcello is joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest lines. A few more moments with Brandon, the college football reporter for CBS Sports and 247 Sports. You had brought that up earlier about all the issues and what's going on with everything in collegiate sports, specifically in collegiate football. But overall, we have this House settlement, as you mentioned. I don't know what's going on. Did anybody check on Judge Wilkin to make sure she's still okay? She's not on vacation. I thought last week we'd hear something because she got the new information that she wanted as far as the rosters are concerned. And here we are approaching June 1st on Sunday and still no settlement. Was there any buzz about that in Destin?
Oh, absolutely. The ADs are worried. Administrators are worried. Because they put a lot of work into implementing what is going to change July 1st if this thing gets approved. And if it doesn't get approved, it changes things, right? You're not going to see that new commission come together for them to oversee NIL deals. But I'll say this. I mean, every school, I think, in the SEC is preparing to do revenue sharing anyway. And their state legislatures are prepared, if they haven't already, to pass laws there allowing them to do so. And I think a lot of the power conference schools across the country are preparing for that they're just going to go, we're going to go ahead and share $20.5 million anyway with our players. But if we don't get this finally approved, is there actually a cap with the $20.5 million? Can the conference commissioners, everybody all get together and go, hey, might not have a House settlement, but we need to corral all this. Again, if we don't do that, it's going to be the wild, wild west again, right? And it's going to be nuts. So they really need this House settlement to be approved to have some guardrails and everything. And it's important, because if not, this stuff could get even crazier.
Yeah, and we have it right here in this state of Tennessee with what they passed, right, with legislation that helps out these schools.
It's great job security for you, Brandon. College football it's great for you. There's always something.
Yeah, I would like to cover some games and talk about rosters at some point.
Exactly. He is Brandon Marcello, national college football reporter for CBS Sports and 247 Sports. Follow him on Twitter at @bmarcello. Hey, Brandon, thank you so much. Always appreciate it.
Absolutely. See you guys.
You guys take care. Good stuff.
It is very interesting to see like the SEC be the one in kind of scramble mode. Yeah, all of the others are united, and the SEC is kind of like, what are we doing? It's just weird. Like the SEC normally is the one that like seems to always know exactly what it wants. They provide, They always at least it may not be that way behind closed doors, but they're always like a united front publicly. And right now, it's kind of like we don't know what we want.
Yeah, and it's never happened here in recent history where they had to sell themselves. For whatever reason, they're selling their product to people. It's like, no, we know what the SEC is all about, but it was just very, very strange, the things that were said at the meetings, but also in that document that Brandon talked about that was distributed to the media. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue is a great option today for lunch, for dinner this weekend. Bring the family to Corky's or take out and bring that Corky's delicious barbecue home to your family. Corky's with 4 locations: Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. They have lunch specials every day. Party packs that start at just $7.49. Make sure when you get your entree, you add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99. And don't forget about their catering. They've been around for 40 years. They've been catering that entire time. They do it and do it right. They'll set you up. They'll tear it down. They'll clean it up. You won't even know they were there. But that delicious barbecue will be in your belly, and you're going to have a smile, a grin from ear to ear, because nobody does it like Corky. So for all your catering needs, make sure to contact Corky's. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. When we come back, we're talking college baseball. One of these 16 regionals taking place in Oxford. Brad Logan will join us. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis Public Links has so much going on right now. Audubon is right around the fairway. Wait until you see when this thing is a finished product. Fox Meadows is in great shape. The links at Pine Hill is now a masterpiece of a place to play, as are really all the other Memphis public golf courses. Galloway is playing like a championship course. They just finished the 75th year of the OPO, and Overton Park is now talked about, and that layout all across the state. And by the way, folks, it's so easy to make a tee time. The hard part is getting your buddies to pick their time. You go online to memphispubliclinks.com, select your course, then grab your tee time. Simple, easy, and incredibly convenient. Also, on the website is a schedule of upcoming events. There you'll find something that will interest you. Again, if you want to book a tee time or find out more about tournaments or other events at any of the great Memphis public golf courses, go online to memphispubliclinks.com.
Andy Wise here. For 6 years, I've endorsed Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South as the standard in affordable luxury. Now get this. Pella just got more affordable. 12 months, no interest, no payments on what Consumer Reports has rated the highest quality windows on the planet, plus 50% off installation. That includes consumer guarantees no other window company will ever match. You have my word. You'll make the wise choice when you choose Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South.
You want it? We got us at Gosling Kia 1900 Covington Pike. How about a new ride for under $6 a day? 2025 Kia K4 LX $169 a month. And peeps will be staring at your 2025 Kia K5 GT line $185 a month. Plus get vacation ready with seating for 8 and 2025 Telluride EX $378 a month. With more power, larger cargo area than Nissan Pathfinder. All $49.99 to its signing 24-month lease. And they're all equipped with Kia's 10-year 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Go see Bobby J. He's waiting to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online. KiaCovingtonPike.com. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 25840, K5 S5312782, MSRP 29330, Telluride SG 597,965, MSRP 43410, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, must finance through KFA, excludes tax on license with approved credit, dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details, offer valid through 6/2/25.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of area jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Area just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A little bit more volume in the last few minutes coming in from Collierville on 385 Bill Morris Parkway, trying to get up on that ramp there to 240. It's moving right now up through South Haven on 55 going northbound as you work your way up through South Memphis on 55 north all the way up by Brooks and Elvis Presley. Dandelions, Crabgrass Lawn Solutions here in Memphis says, hey, we can take care of this for you. Call Lawn Solutions today. You'll be glad you did. 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 8:30 the time. The NCAA baseball tournament gets underway today with 16 regionals around the country, including one in Oxford, Mississippi, as Ole Miss will host. And here to talk about that and other things, Ole Miss Rebels, is our friend Brad Logan from Logan Media and the Logan Media Network, host of the Believe in Ole Miss podcast, the Red and Blue Crew podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at Brad Logan, COTE. Joins us now. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing fantastic. So let me ask you this. I know Ole Miss, I knew they would be good going into the season, but they get to the SEC championship game. They fall to Vanderbilt, the number one overall seed in the tournament. Ole Miss hosts as a regional host. How good are they?
I think they're really good. It's interesting. You know, it started off a big win over number 21 Arizona, 2-1. Finished the year 40-19, 16-14 in the conference, but really 20 conference wins if you count the SEC tournament and you count the big win in Pearl over Mississippi State in the Governor's Cup. It's been kind of an up and down year. I think Ole Miss had opportunities against Arkansas early in the year when the Hogs were ranked number 3. They lost 2 out of 3, but just had an opportunity to win that Sunday game and couldn't pull the trigger and do it. Went ahead and swept Missouri, swept a team, Florida, that at the time was not very good, had not won a conference game. Won 2 out of 3 against Florida, but would eventually be a really good team. And then continued the winning ways against Kentucky. The problem is they had a chance against then number 5 Tennessee, had a chance to go 2 out of 3 and lost that Sunday game 10-8, and really had that game in their pocket. Losses against South Carolina, and then of course Oklahoma on the road. Did beat Vanderbilt at home, and I thought that was a huge series win along with along with Auburn. And here's the thing: is Mississippi State is a team that kind of got hot later in the year. Ole Miss couldn't pull out a win there. But the thing about it is Mike Bianco, Mike Clement kept the team together. They never got swept, and they were able to get at least one in all of these series. But I think that series win against Vanderbilt and then against Auburn, and of course getting red hot in the SEC tournament, catapulted this team into a hosting position. I don't think they were a lock to host by any stretch. They were on the bubble heading into the SEC tournament. They won 2 or 3 games in the tournaments and big wins over number 5 Arkansas, then RPI number 2 LSU, and then also beat Florida, number 15 ranked Florida, before falling to number 1 RPI Vanderbilt 2-3 in the championship game. Absolutely put the Rebels in the tournament. They're playing really well right now.
Going into the year, and then throughout the year it played out, like you knew on Friday nights you're good with Hunter Elliott back. Like you pretty much feel like you have him on the mound. You know you're going to be in pretty much every game. There were question marks behind him. Where did the pitching come in that SEC tournament beyond Hunter Elliott was my big question.
Yeah, you saw this team early on this year, Eli, and paid really close attention. And we knew that Riley Maddox was going to be a huge component, who, by the way, is throwing tonight against Murray State in Game 1. They are not throwing Hunter Elliott. So Riley Maddox is going to go. There are a couple of pitchers that really jumped out. And, with Mason Morris coming in as being the number 1 middle reliever for Ole Miss, has really pitched really well. 3.28 ERA. He's appeared in 17 games and has just done really well. He's controlled. He's shown command from the mound. 69 strikeouts, by the way, and has really played well or pitched well. Some other unlikely heroes, if you will, Will McCausland has been someone they've been able to go through. Walter Hooks started the championship game. Without the home run, he probably goes the distance in Ole Miss beats Vanderbilt to win the SEC championship. So Gunnar Dennis is a name that we've seen. The one constant to me has been Connor Spencer. They've called upon him anywhere from the 7th to the 9th inning to come in and try to close the games out. And he's had 18 appearances, had a little bit of an injury issue, but he's pretty much been Connor Spencer when Ole Miss has had that opportunity late in the game. There's been other names. Mason Nichols is someone that has pitched well for Ole Miss when called upon. But the name that's hot right now is Kay Townsend. Townsend came in the SEC tournament and kind of lit it on fire, went the distance, has only appeared in 14 games. But anytime you have a big season, at least you look back under the season, you think, wow, what happened for this team to kind of catch an extra gear, to win a couple extra games? There's always a couple of players. And on the mound for Ole Miss this year, I think it's going to be Cade Townsend. He's going to be a name. I think we'll see him pitch this weekend in Oxford. But I think that's a name that we'll look back on and say, wow, that was a guy that made a huge appearance in the SEC tournament, kind of got some life back into this team, and it kind of erupted to get the team in the Oxford Regional.
Brad Logan joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Okay, so the lineup for today, beginning at 3, it's the 3rd seed in the region, Western Kentucky, versus number 2, Georgia Tech. That's on ESPN+. And then the Ole Miss game, which you can hear right here on Sports 56, 98.5 FM. They are the number 1, obviously the hosts, against number 4, Murray State. If you want to watch it on television, ESPN+ as well at about 7. So I don't know how much you know about these other schools. Obviously, Georgia Tech has a historically good baseball program. But to me, just from the outside looking in, looks pretty favorable to Ole Miss. What do you see?
Yeah, it does. I mean, if you look in chalk prevails, and Ole Miss eventually would face Georgia Tech, but I do think they're going to beat Western Kentucky. Georgia Tech's a team that had Dan Hall, I believe, is their head coach, and he's going to be stepping aside after this year. So they're kind of playing for him. And they come in with a record of 40-17 and 19-11 in the ACC. And I don't think, guys, in the history of the ACC, a team that has won the ACC has not hosted a regional before. So they definitely have a chip on their shoulder, and they'll be playing hard this afternoon for Coach. And if chalk prevails and Ole Miss gets past, I think you're probably going to see Nick Shute or Isaac Silva on the mound. Both those guys have right around a 4.0 ERA for Murray State. Both the strikeout to walk ratio is very similar. So it's definitely someone that Ole Miss has not seen, that type of pitcher. They're batting, giving up opponents are batting 228 and 250 against them. So either one of those is probably going to go today, and then they've been susceptible to give up the long ball. And so we'll see what happens there. But if you look at Georgia Tech, and they've got a couple of guys that they're hitting over 350 and led by Kent Schmidt at 400. So if chalk prevails, Ole Miss would play Georgia Tech on Saturday. But sometimes that's not the way it happens. And, Ole Miss is the testament to that. The first time a regional's been played in Oxford since 2021, and they have not hosted a Super Regional since 2008. So it's going to be a very juiced-up crowd. I had a chance to look at the secondary market for tickets, and they're anywhere from $300 to $400 for one won a couple of tickets. So it's pretty crazy right now. If you look at Murray State, they've got about 3 or 4 hitters that they're going to have to look around. Dom Decker, is the number one slugger for them, batting .351. But they've got a couple guys that hit the long ball. That's Jonathan Hogard at .333. Outside of that, very similar to Ole Miss. A lot of batters under 300. But for the Rebels, it's pretty much, Eli, you saw this team early, hit the long ball or strike out. And that hasn't changed a whole lot. And so that's one thing that Mike Bianco and Mike Clement understand is this is the team that's got to find that timely hit to advance to the Supers at the Omaha. So we'll see what happens in Oxford. But this team has kind of lived and died by its pitching coach, Joel Mangrum. That was a hire that was made out of the, I think it was the Twins organization during the offseason. Guardians, thank you. And that was a decision by Mike Bianco, which was uncharacteristic. And I think after the last 2 years of not winning at a high level that they did back in 22, winning the national championship, Mike Bianco kind of looked inside and thought, we've got to make some changes. And I think that number one change was relinquishing calling the pitches and being the pitching coach predominantly, and that's when Joel Mangrum came in, and he's done that. He's kind of turned this roster around, and Eli, I'm mistaken. I should have mentioned him earlier when you asked about the pitching staff, because he's the number one reason I think that Ole Miss has done well. And it's not across just pitching; it's across the entire team. Because Will Furniss, the first baseman, they mentioned about how he's kind of jolted some excitement into this team, and Will Furniss put it perfectly when we had a chance to visit with him, or he visited with the media, and he said this team is just different than the other teams that he's played on.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd have told me even midway through the year, whatever, they're going to the SEC tournament, they're going to give up 2 runs to without Hunter Elliott. Hunter Elliott's already been used. 2 runs to Arkansas, shut out LSU, and then only give up the 3 runs to Vanderbilt. I mean, that's some incredible stuff, and there's no doubt Mangrum has had a huge effect. Ole Miss as a whole. Now, the football team they didn't make the playoff, but it was still a really good year. But basketball goes to Sweet 16, women's basketball Sweet 16, baseball's back hosting a regional, softball's at the College World Series. The golf team just made the Final Four, came really close to making the championship, but had the individual champion in men's golf. I mean, this has got to be the glory days of Ole Miss sports, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Lasasso, you made mention of him, individual national championship winner. So, I mean, you look at the university as a whole, specifically, honing in on athletics, and I can't think of a time where Ole Miss has been this successful in this amount of sports. And people are paying attention. The recruiting is going really well all across the board. And I think I don't think you can give enough credit to Keith Carter. And I understand that, he's the one that gets the blame when things aren't great, and he's the one that gets the act. But I truly believe the hires that he's made, and not only that, but the decisions to stay with the hires that are on campus, in large part, are why the Rebels are successful right now. The athletes, obviously, are performing on the field, the court, the grass, that sort of thing. But I think the direction of the athletic department, and it goes far beyond Keith Carter. It goes down to the deputy athletic directors, and it's a cohesive unit. I said on this program during football season when we were talking about the season, is the cohesive unit between, we've seen this new advent of the NIL, we've seen the new advent of collective. I don't know what's going to happen with, the old SEC, the Big Ten, and how the point I'm trying to make is everything is so volatile, everything's changing. But one thing that hasn't changed is the relationship between Keith Carter, the director of athletics at Ole Miss, Walker Jones, the Growth Collective, general manager, and then you look at all the coaching staffs. So all of that collective unit has been a really nice, circumference, and everyone has kind of played the same game. And I think when you have that type of unity in those 3 components, then it's going to deem successful. The communication has been there, and the people have done things, collaboratively. They're having a softball game to raise money for the NIL, and every single coach is going to be a part of it in some capacity. I mean, that's just not surprising to me that Ole Miss has kind of come together. And when that happens, I think special things happen, and we're seeing those play out on the scoreboard, the scorecard, on the field, and that sort of thing. And I think that's why Ole Miss has done so well, is because this has been, put together. It's been months ago that all of those collective groups have come together. Now they're kind of seeing the benefit of all of that.
It doesn't always work when the hire is within the family. Keith Carter playing at Ole Miss, having gone to school at Ole Miss, sometimes it backfires. It didn't work out with Trev Alberts at Nebraska, but you certainly have it working out here in Oxford with Keith, who was on last week, the show with Eli. It's just falling into place. I've seen it work before with hires, again, with former players that are directly associated with that particular school. But we've also seen a lot of times when it works out going with somebody from the outside. But it definitely is working with Keith Carter. All right, final thing for you, Brad, and going back to the baseball. Georgia is the mirror regional with Ole Miss, right? So Athens. If Georgia wins theirs and Ole Miss wins their regional, and they're the favorites to do so, Georgia's the higher seed. Is it automatic that Georgia would host the Super Regional?
Yes, it is. That's the benefit of being a top 8 seed, is that if you win your regional, you're automatically the host for the next week's Super Regional. So Ole Miss will travel. The Rebels are rooting for the Duke Blue Devils, and oddly enough, I think that's much more of a possibility than people think. I think Duke is the second best team in the ACC, and quite frankly, I'm not so sure that Georgia Tech is not a better team than either Georgia or Duke. So, and of course, they showed that on the field against the Blue Devils. But I think Ole Miss will have a much more difficult. Beating Georgia Tech, I think, is going to be more problematic than beating possibly Georgia or Duke. So, I'm really high on Georgia Tech. I think it's a difficult region in large part because Ole Miss drew Georgia Tech, who I thought was very deserving of a host. So, but you're absolutely right. Top 8 seeds will host if they win their regional.
He is Brad Logan from Logan Media Network, the Believe in the Ole Miss podcast, Red and Blue Crew podcast as well. He's the host of both. You can follow him on Twitter at Brad Logan, COTE. Enjoy the games, Brad. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Take care. The reason I asked that, I thought that was the case, but with regionals, and there's many more teams involved, you're talking about 16 hosts, that it's hard to judge because you're not seated yet, and they look at also the ability to host. Do you have enough capacity? Do you have the hotels? What type of history do you have as far as attendance is concerned? That all comes into play with the regionals. But with the Super Regionals, and I thought it was via seed, which makes sense and it's fair. But then I also thought for a second, well, maybe they do the same thing with the Super Regionals. Look at who could be the host, and one is better than the other. The other one has more of a track record, even though they've obviously done well in the past because they wouldn't have hosted the regional. But the Super Regional, by seed, makes a lot of sense.
We will have the baseball game tonight, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock, the scheduled start time for that, for Ole Miss. In that one against Murray State, the Ole Miss women's softball team, after the loss last night, they will play tonight at 8:30 against Oregon as they try to stay alive in Oklahoma City at the Women's College World Series. So big night on the diamond for Ole Miss, both baseball and softball.
Yeah, and real quick, those results from yesterday at the Women's College World Series, obviously softball. Texas Tech beat Ole Miss 1-0. Ole Miss could only muster 2 hits. Texas Tech's 12th seed. Tennessee and Oklahoma, we talked about that with Varlas. The walk-off home run for Oklahoma, 3-run shot, wins it over Tennessee 4-3. Also, there was a walk-off late last night in the UCLA-Oregon game with the 9-seed UCLA beating the 16th-seed Oregon 4-2. And Texas over Florida in an all-SEC battle. That's the 6th seed over the 3-seed. Texas winning that one 3-0 in first-day action yesterday in the College Softball World Series, which is taking place in Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where it is? Okay. We will take a timeout. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in
Horn Lake, also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Totes. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free green egg grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms. Enjoy endless hot water and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, no. But a box fan? Happily yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine ones? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol and select markets. Price availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. We can't wait to serve you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
The employee pricing plus Memorial Day sales event is on in Gossett. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the bike. 25 Ram 1500 Trace, Crew Cab 5.7 box rear-wheel drive. $12,391 off MSRP or $529.47 a month. How about off-road capabilities and refined features in 24 Jeep Wrangler Sahara 4-wheel drive. $13,779 off MSRP or zero for 36 months available. 25 Grand Cherokee Altitude X elevates the Altitude trim with additional luxury features. $91.37 off MSRP. 5 for $34,798. 24 Dodge Hornet GT, $26,484. So try past the rest and come to the best. Gossett, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Fiat on the bike. Online, GossettMotorCars.net. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
MSRP 48,260, Wrangler RQ 302,914, MSRP 59,760, Cherokee SC 83,363, MSRP 43,935, Hornet R3A 42,101, MSRP 36,330, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title license, see dealer for complete details, offer valid to end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Coming up in our last hour, Steve Macy will join us, talk a little bit about what's going on for the final game of the year for the Showboats coming up on Sunday. I do have some tickets for the game on Sunday. It's a 2 o'clock game Sunday afternoon. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend weather-wise.
Finally.
Yeah, no kidding. After last weekend, we are owed. Ma Nature, you owe us one after last weekend. And the Showboats will be playing the Birmingham Stallions on Sunday. I've got 4 tickets that I will give to caller number 1. First caller, 360-8255, 360-8255. All you got to do is call in. And give Elijah your either email or phone number. We will send you 4 tickets for Sunday's game. You don't even have to come pick them up. They'll be sent to you. And you'll have 4 tickets to go see Sunday's game. Of course, if you've got kids 12 and under, they're free anyway. So you don't even have to use any of the tickets on the kids if you don't want to. You can use 4 tickets for whoever and then get some kids' tickets for the kids 12 and under and bring them out there for free for the game. And again, $2 hot dogs and beers as well. So it's a hell of a deal right there.
Good deal. We already have our winner. That's how quick that came and went. We do have another prize package to offer you coming up in hour number 3. That's, of course, that prize package from 10 in a row. So get ready for that to open up hour 3. And then, as Eli mentioned, Steve Macy at about 9:30. I saw this news yesterday, and I was very happy. College football reps, I should say, for the College Football Hall of Fame, have announced that they will lower the win percentage needed for a coach to become eligible for the Hall of Fame. It will be enacted in 2027. So not now, but in 2027. So coaches whose winning percentage had to be 60% to be considered to be a Hall of Fame. You weren't automatically in the Hall of Fame if it was 60%, but everything else that went with it, 60%. Well, now they've lowered it to 59.5%, which will make the Pirate, the late, great Mike Leach, eligible for the Hall of Fame. Love it. Because the Pirate's getting in.
Yeah, hopefully he's in.
He's going to get in.
And I think he will, and it's great. It's a weird little
I know.
Random. We're going to go to 59.5%.
I know.
Whatever.
It's the Mike Leach rule. They're doing this for Mike Leach. Yeah, sure. He doesn't have these national championships, but you're talking about one of the great offensive innovators. He's had success, or he had success with a number of different schools. So this is the Mike Leach rule. He's going to get in. I'm glad they did it. So after the game last night between the Pacers and the Knicks.
Also makes Les Miles eligible, by the way.
Oh, does it? I didn't see that. Okay. And Miles has the natty, right?
Who was the other one? There's another coach that's becomes eligible under this.
So there's
fairly big names.
So three names, like big names, 3 names that were 59.5% and needed to be 60. So maybe it's more than the Mike Leach rule.
I can't think. I believe there was 3. It was Leach, Miles. I believe there was a third one. It's a pretty big name that now becomes eligible.
Well, Miles gets in, right? He has the natty.
I would hope not. But
no? You got a national championship under your belt?
Gene Chizik getting in?
I don't know what the total wins are for those guys. But a little more lenient when it comes to College Football Hall of Fame and other Hall of Fames not named the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, which is now starting to become a little bit more lenient in a sense as well with all the committees that allow players to get in.
Oh, Jackie Sherrill was the other name. Jackie Sherrill now is eligible.
Now tell me he's not a Hall of Famer.
Sherrill, Miles, and Leach. Sherrill was 59.5. Les Miles, 59.7. And Leach, 59.6.
Let them all in. All 3 of those guys deserve to be in.
Les Miles does not deserve to be in.
Jackie Sherrill.
Les Miles is not a Hall of Famer.
Friend of the show. You heard him a lot over the years on Sports 56.
Les Miles is not a Hall of Famer.
No?
No. God, no.
Okay. I need to know his win totals. I need to know what he has win-wise. I'll change my mind. But a national championship's pretty nice to start your resume off. Do you have that?
I do not have it.
Okay. All right. If you find it, let me know. So
I'm not looking for it. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's a terrible coach.
It's one opinion. Your opinion.
I don't think there's anybody out there that believes. I can't. Maybe there is. LSU people wouldn't believe Les Miles is a Hall of Famer.
All right. But it seems like you have an argument with Mike Leach, too.
I don't have a problem. Mike Leach should be in as an innovator, regardless of his coaching
That's what I said. And Jackie's a Hall of Famer.
I don't really know Jackie's real history as a coach. I don't know what he's accomplished,
Pitt,
all
A&M,
that stuff.
Mississippi
I know where he's
State.
been. I don't know how many games he won, all that type stuff. I know he did a lot of things, but
Elijah, that's your homework assignment for next hour. Find those numbers for Jackie Sherrill, for Mike Leach, and for Les Miles. All right, so real quick, I know we're up against the clock here. After the Indiana game yesterday, Indiana Knicks won Game 5 to force a Game 6. Greg Doyle, who's always in the middle of something, from the Indiana Star. You know Greg Doyle. So Pascal Siakam's on the podium, and so they had this exchange. Pascal Siakam talking. I guess he was asked about, hey, well, how did you lose the game, whatever. And he goes, they played harder. So Greg Doyle from the Indy Star follows up, how's that possible? And then Siakam, they played harder. Happens. Doyle, in Game 5? Siakam, you good, bro? I told you. What else you want me to tell you? Doyle, I want you to tell me how. Siakam, you tell me. Who's this guy? That was the exchange. Any harm or foul in that exchange? Do you see any issues?
No.
I don't either. I mean, they made it a big deal on social media, but I don't see the problem either. Doyle has been in hot water at times, and he's very outspoken. Good writer, though. Very good writer. He was pressing him. I mean, it's a legitimate question. Man, Game 5, man. You're moving on to the NBA Finals if you win, and you're telling me that the other team played harder. How's that possible? How didn't you match their intensity? And he says it just happens. And then after a while, obviously, he's not going to move forward with any more information. And then throws the, who's this guy? You know, why? That's when I'm sure the media relations department person from the Indiana Pacers is cringing, trying to get that microphone over to somebody else. I know how that feels. I know how that is, because I've seen that before in certain situations here with the Grizzlies in Memphis. We will take a timeout. We'll come back hour 3. We open up with 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. If you'd like to participate, jump on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines right now by calling in at 901-360-8255. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Total membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for a limited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always ship with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like. Do you have a dash light on? Oh yeah. And we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one. So you don't need to hear them. Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Restrictions apply.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelet, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a Mother Pheasant Plucker, I pluck Mother Pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Five-Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
more fun, family, and fabulous prizes at the 67th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, Sunday through Saturday, June 15th through 21st. Golfers can win cash and prizes every night, along with the chance to win $25,000 toward a City Auto vehicle purchase select nights. Then a chance to win $1 million the final night. Plus, there are cornhole tournaments every night with cash and prizes. Friday and Saturday nights, there are kids' carnival ride and 2 to 4 Saturday children's golf. So golfers, grab your clubs. Cornholers, practice your aim. Families, bring the kids. Memphis, there's something for everyone. You're invited to the biggest party of the year at St. Louis Church, 203 South White Station Road. The 67th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, Sunday through Saturday, June 15th through the 21st. Fun, family, and fabulous prizes all week as you help raise funds supporting youth programs at St. Louis Church. This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning, MPD working with a couple of minor accidents. Got a little bit heavier in the last few minutes. I-40 westbound as you work your way past Canada Road, Chambers Chapel, all that traffic flowing in right now from Fayette County into Shelby County. Still a little bit crowded. Southbound Austin P trying to get up on that ramp there to I-40. Midtown traffic trying to build 240 north here at Lamar. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters. It's bridal season. Stop by and see them this weekend and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry out on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Brett Mooresworthy and Bryant Dacus. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6. Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 once again, our Greg Gaston and
Welcome back, everyone. Final hour for us this week here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, located at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's the Friday, May 30th, 2025 edition. Currently 66 degrees. Get up to about 79 today. Partly cloudy sky. Should be a nice day. 60 tonight. Mostly clear for your low. And then the weekend looks good. It'll warm up. It'll be low to mid-80s. Looking at 84 for a high Saturday and Sunday. But mostly sunny with a very, very minimal chance of rain. So that should be nice for Showboats football, wrapping up the season on Sunday. We'll talk more about that coming up at 9:30 with Steve Macy. We got 10 in a row. The game show that has swept the nation coming up in just a moment. I do want to tell you about our third hour sponsor, and we can't thank them enough. The great folks at Jenkins Floors and More. Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins, family-owned and operated flooring and carpeting company. Located at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock. They sell it wholesale. They're gonna skip the middleman for you. It's going to save you lots of money. This isn't just hyperbole. This is the truth. You want to go to the big box stores? Yeah, become another number. This is where you're treated like family. They're going to come to you. Wherever you are, they're coming to you. They're going to bring you samples. They're going to give you a free estimate. And then if you go with Jenkins, they're going to get the job done in 2 weeks or less. That's their promise to you. So why go anywhere else? Flooring, carpeting, backsplashes, plantation shutters and blinds, and so much more. They have it for you at Jenkins Floors and More. Call them, 662-469-9350. Tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings. In fact, Sports 56 listeners out there, ask about your family discount. Military and first responders, you always get 10% off. They are open Monday through Saturday, so closed on Sunday. Go visit Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins at Jenkins Floors and More. Time now for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
Don't get shut out. If you want to participate in 10 in a row, jump on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines right now at 901-360-8255. It's the game show that has swept the nation, and it's brought to you by Napa Cafe.
That's right, Napa Cafe. Celebrating 27 years in business now. They're at 5101 Sanderlin in the heart of East Memphis. Delicious food, great atmosphere, Whether you're celebrating with a crowd, looking for an intimate evening out, whatever it is that you're looking for, you know that you can find it at Napa Cafe, and you're certainly going to find great food. They've got 5 different dining rooms, including their private wine cellar, which is great if you're celebrating a special occasion. Maybe you just want to go sit at the bar, have a drink, and an appetizer, whatever it might be. They're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner, starting at 5 o'clock. You can go to napacafe.com to make reservations, check out the menu, and see all those delicious options. Their menu is available for takeout as well, curbside pickup, so you can take some of their delicious food home with you as well from Napa Cafe. Again, 5101 Sanderlin and online at napacafe.com. The winner of 10 in a row will get a $50 gift certificate to Napa Cafe. Also got a $25 gift certificate to the Owner's Box out in Lakeland. And then we got some golf for you. How about golf for 4 at Miramichi?
Nice.
And maybe it could be golf, could just be fun. Got a $25 gift card to Putt Putt Golf and Games as well.
All right, that's a heck of a prize package for you. I didn't make it easy for you today. Sometimes I throw you up a softball, big plate of meat you can knock out of the park. This one's tough.
Knock it out of the park like Ella Parker.
Like Ella Parker did, absolutely. Smashed it. Top 10 Major League Baseball home run leaders over the last 5 years. And I'm talking literally the last 5 years. From May 28th, 2020 through May 28th, 2025. So that was on Wednesday night. The last 5 years, May 28th, 2020 through May 28th, 2025, top 10 Major League Baseball home run leaders. I will give you the name of a Major League Baseball player. They are active players. If they're on the list, they're a top 10er. It's a yes. If not, it's a no. Like I said, not easy. There'll be some big names that are not on that list, so don't let that fool you. 360-8255.
360-8255 is the number. Try and win, again, $50 to Napa Cafe, $25 to the Owner's Box, a golf for 4 at Miramichi Golf Course, and a $25 gift card to Putt Putt Golf and Games. And James is going to be first up. What's up, James?
Hey, James.
Good morning.
Appreciate James being the first guinea pig, but maybe the first winner or the only winner. Here we go. Top 10 Major League Baseball home run leaders over the last 5 years. Freddie Freeman.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number. I mean, it's makes sense for him to say yes on that one, but is not the case. He's up there, not top 10. 360-8255. I know people are scurrying to try to look this up. This is tough. This one you're probably going to have to just step up to the plate and make some guesses. Who's next?
Mario's next. Hey, Mario.
Hey, Mario.
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Doing well, doing well. Top 10 Major League Baseball home run leaders over the last 5 years. Not the last 5 seasons, the last 5 years, literally 5 years. May 28th, 2020 through May 28th, 2025. Pete Alonso.
Yes.
Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yes.
Kyle Tucker.
No.
Bobby Witt Jr.
No.
Rafael Devers.
Yes.
Corey Seager.
No.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yes.
Bryce Harper.
No.
Matt Olson.
Yes.
Manny Machado.
No.
I guess you can look that thing up, man. That's great, Mario. You hit that one out of the park.
Mario, congratulations, sir. You
Now,
are a winner.
I kind of know the baseball hitters.
Well,
as far as hitters, now, if it was pitchers, I probably would have knew, but hitters, I kind of know the top one.
Well, you drilled it, buddy. I mean,
Hold
good
on,
job,
Mario.
Mario. Congratulations.
Mario.
Wow.
Congratulations.
I didn't expect second caller to win. Are we doing second chance?
We are not.
So Eli has shut it down. I will test you. I'm still shocked that Mario's a smart guy. He knows his sports. Man, oh, man. I thought it was going to be much harder. The first list, we opened up with Freddie Freeman, and our first caller, James, said yes, and it's a no. So, Eli, here are the rest. Kyle Schwarber.
Yes.
Yes, and he hit his 193rd home run during this 5-year period last night. Juan Soto.
Well, not during that 5-year period, because that 5-year
Well,
period.
no. I mean, if I extended it to last night. Juan Soto.
Yes.
Mookie Betts.
No.
Yordan Alvarez.
I'm going to say yes.
That's a no. These guys are all up there, though. Salvador Perez.
No.
Jose Ramirez.
No.
That's a yes. Aaron Judge.
Yes.
Francisco Lindor.
No.
Marcel Ozuna.
No.
Good job. So the leader of this list is Aaron Judge, 223. And then you have Shohei at 205. Others on the list that were yeses, Juan Soto's 153, Jose Ramirez 154, Vlad Guerrero's 152, Matt Olson's 182, Pete Alonso's 184, Devers is 149. Some guys like Austin Riley way up there. He had a home run yesterday as well. But there you go. I mean, Mario, congratulations. A winner this week in 10 in a row. The game show that has swept the nation is brought to you each and every week by the great folks at Napa Cafe. Yesterday, the University of Memphis announced 6 kickoff times. So not their entire season, obviously, but 6 of their 12 games. Their season opener versus Chattanooga, which will be on Saturday, August 30th. So get ready for 95 degrees. That will start at 3:30 on ESPN+. I would like it to be a night game. It's going to be hot no matter what. You play it in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, overnight hours, it's going to be hot. But Memphis will open up with the Mocs, and that'll be at 3:30 on ESPN+. Week 2 at Georgia State in Atlanta. That's Saturday, September 6th. That will be a 6 o'clock game on Plus as well. Week 3, they travel to Troy, Alabama to take on the Troy Trojans. Saturday, September 13th. That's an early game. That's an 11 a.m. game on ESPNU. Then a few of the conference games and times announced. They'll play at Rice in Houston on Halloween night, October 31st, 6 p.m. on the Deuce. They will play Tulane at home on Friday, November 7th, 8 p.m. ESPN. That is going to be one you want to circle on your calendar because it's going to be, I'm sure, a very important game for both teams. ESPN has it, the big boy, Friday night game. That could be, it all depends as long as these two teams do what they are supposed to do to get to that point to make it a meaningful game. And very much so the Navy game on Thanksgiving, which had been announced prior, November 27th, could be another huge game as well. Thanksgiving night, 6:30 on ESPN. But the Tulane game is one that we'll see. We'll see what Memphis is able to do. They won't be picked to win in the preseason polls when they have their media days. They will probably be picked, I'm guessing, third. But they certainly have the talent to get to the championship game, which is something that has eluded them, and to even win the whole thing. But it's going to be a lot of new faces, a new starting quarterback that's going to have to come through, and I think there's going to be improvement from teams like Tulane, which had a little bit of a ruptured tire there late in the season last year, and Memphis took care of business against them. But John Summerall is a very good coach. I think UTSA, which beat Memphis, is on the rise. And then, of course, you have to battle the teams from the Naval Academies, with Memphis playing Navy, not playing Army, but we know what Army did in their first year last year. So that Tulane game, though, again, Friday, November 7th, I think is going to be extremely important. And hopefully fans will come out and support the Tigers all season long. But especially, I think that Friday night could be real nice for national TV and that whole setting.
With the announcements of the early season first 3-week game times, Ole Miss, who's got 2 SEC games in weeks 2 and 3, they go to Kentucky in week 2. Week 3, they host Arkansas, and that will be a night game down in Oxford, which I know that will make the folks down in Oxford happy, since last year they did not get any night games in the SEC on the home schedule. Their first home SEC game this year against Arkansas in week 3 will be a night game, either 6 or 6:45. So I know they were not happy last year with the 0 night games, but they will get one right off the bat this year in week 3.
Yeah, there's a pretty wild game in the history of Arkansas Ole Miss that I happened to see firsthand back in the day down in Oxford, which was quite the game, the instant classic. But speaking of Arkansas, they haven't announced, I assume those were the first 6 start times for the Memphis schedule, right? So they haven't announced the starting time for the Arkansas game, correct? The Memphis-Arkansas game.
No, they've done. They do the first 3 weeks of the season and then those special games.
Okay, so
the
so
non-Saturdays.
you have to wait. Is it better at one time or another for Memphis? Does it matter?
I mean, they want from what fans and everything else, I think probably would want it as a night game or at least an afternoon game. They don't tend to like the 11 a.m. kickoff.
Right, fans. But I'm talking about from a player standpoint, with it being at home, getting out of your own bed as opposed to the hotel. I think it's a very quick turnaround. There's 2 ways to look at it because I'm on the road with the Tigers. The early games is you're up really, really early. Those players are up really, really early, stretching out, getting ready at the hotel, having the breakfast, then eventually going on to the stadium. That's an early morning. So that means you had the night before hopefully got your rest. Not all players do. And then be ready to go and be at the top of your game from the get-go. Whereas in the evening, on the road or late afternoon, you got more time, maybe a little bit extra time to sleep in. But then you start having to wait around a hotel. So that's certainly a disadvantage in some regards for road teams. Arkansas obviously will be the road team in this game. So that's why I'm thinking, again, do teams prefer a morning kickoff, the road teams, a morning kickoff or an evening kickoff? And then from a fan base standpoint, obviously it'll be a limited amount of capacity because of the stadium renovations. And what you don't want to see is a big sea of red. And they will certainly be trying to buy those tickets up, Arkansas fans. So, again, that's why I asked about Memphis, too, about what's better for the fans. And I agree with you 100%. A night game is probably best. Of course, weather's always a factor, too. All bets are off if it's bad weather.
Yeah, I mean, again, fans just in general prefer at very least the 2:30, but mostly night. They don't like the 11 a.m. games, if possible. A little harder to get out there and tailgate. Now, you can tailgate after the game, but harder to get out there and tailgate and really get yourself into a game mode for those 11 a.m. games.
We were talking with Brandon Marcello earlier about the SEC spring meetings, which are now over with, and still so many decisions that have to be made in college football and really in collegiate sports, and the whole situation with the House settlement. Will it happen? Now it's will it happen? Before it was when it happens. So we're still waiting for that. Now, if they do end up settling, and the SEC, again, is the one that's, like you said, not really, usually they are set in their ways, and they have an agenda, and they know what they're doing. Now it's a little bit wishy-washy with what was said during those meetings, especially between administration and coaches, although the administration has the final say, is if we do go down that 5+11 model, which is really gaining traction. And that, I mentioned the Yormark comments, the Big 12 commissioner, he wants it. I'm sure the ACC wants it. Doesn't mean that the SEC still can't get their 5 teams in, even though they don't have 4 AQs, whatever the case is. But that would probably eliminate the play-in weekend, right? For the SEC. They want the AQs for that to happen, correct?
Yeah, because you're not playing in for any spots.
Yeah, but that's their own rule, right? Yeah, that's their own. Like, you wouldn't have that necessarily in the Big Ten, right? You would just
Big Ten.
they
talking about do it as well.
They were agreeing on that. Okay,
Again, that's up to the conference to do, but
Exactly.
they're looking at it as a moneymaker. It's more than just a conference championship game that weekend. We can have all these games. We can end up with 3 games rather than 1 on that weekend. From a TV perspective and everything else, it's more money.
Right. But even the 4-4-2-2-1 would be 3 at-larges if they go to 16. So still a team in the play-in could conceivably lose and still make it as an at-large. But there's a lot less spots.
Could. Yeah. But that's the question. I mean, if the 6 seed were to beat the 3 seed, does that 3 seed get in still?
Right, and you don't want to
or does taking that last loss knock them out? And that's what they have to look at when doing these things if they're going to go to the play-in games.
Right, and it's an extra loss if you're doing, and that's why you're not going to do it if it's the 5 and 11. Even though there's 11 at-large spots and a number of them are going to go to the SEC and Big Ten, it's an extra loss for those teams. Whereas now you might get into the debate, and they've already questioned the committee. Like you said, the computers, they moved on from the computers to the humans. Now they want to do something with the humans. I guess it's robots. I guess that's where we're headed. But you add those losses for playing games just because you want to make all that extra money to have those games, which you would as a conference. It could put those teams in dire straits when it comes to the committee and where they rank these teams and which at-larges they end up going with, because there could be the ACC and the Big 12 stepping up with another team that has less losses. Then we get into that loss debate, 2 versus 3, which became a big debate last year and is still being debated now for some reason.
You can't have play-in games for you can only have play-in games for automatic berths. Because otherwise it's not a play-in game, because if the 6 seed wins, that doesn't guarantee them a spot. The committee would have to rank them high enough.
Yeah, change the name of a play-in. Change the name of a play-in. Just talking about you have your SEC championship, and then you have 2 more of these games. It's an extra game. It's more money. It's more in your TV contract. I mean, you're right, absolutely right. It wouldn't be a play-in game, but it's something to add to SEC championship weekend by adding a couple of more teams. But I think in a 5+11 situation, it would put them into a bad situation, both them and the Big Ten. They wouldn't want to do that. They would rather rely on all those other teams that don't make the championship game to get in on their own merits. And that gauntlet, again, they continue to talk about the gauntlet of the SEC schedule, which is true. But again, will it always resonate with the committee itself? And that's what they're questioning. What are they looking at there as far as wins and losses versus strength of schedule?
Folks, when it comes to guns, firearms, all kinds of supplies, whatever, anything dealing with firearms, Classic Arms of Memphis has you taken care of at 1740 Germantown Parkway. It's right behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova. Online, you can shop 24/7 at classicarmsofmemphis.com. Whether it be handguns for self-defense, whether it be guns for hunting, shotguns, rifles, handguns, whatever. Not just new guns, but also used guns, because not only do they sell, but they will also buy and trade guns as well at Classic Arms with all the top brand names, guaranteed lowest price in town. They also do free gun inspections and appraisals. And, of course, if you need gun cases or gun safes or ammunition or any supplies, they've got that as well at Classic Arms. Again, 1740 Germantown Parkway, right behind Corky's Barbecue. They're on Germantown Parkway. And online at classicarmsofmemphis.com. For anything firearms, go see them at Classic Arms.
Steve Macy from the Memphis Showboats joins us next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56 and 95 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement,
sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. We can't wait to serve you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event got thunderstruck, and the deals will shock you. All current inventory is not affected by new tariffs, so you can buy with confidence. And 2.99 for 60 months is available. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid, $349 a month, or buy for $41,115 with a combined range of 420 miles. 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, we Gossett, $28,545. 25 Mitsubishi Outlander, we Gossett, $32,130 or $499 a month. Plus, you always get peace of mind with our 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
SEO 11871, MSRP 46,000, Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545, Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Clearing up a couple of wrecks we had out here earlier. Remains a little bit busy over here with some volume, more than it was 10 minutes ago on 40 westbound as you come past Germantown Parkway down to Sycamore View Road. Coming up from the south hadn't been too bad. 55 still moving northbound up through South Haven, coming in from DeSoto County into South Memphis. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:32 the time. Our final half hour before we call it a weekend. At least we get to. You guys probably at 5 o'clock get to call it a weekend. Getting you set for the sports weekend. It'll be busy, including the final game of the Memphis Showboats 2025 season. And that's what we're going to talk about here for the next few moments with our good friend Steve Macy. He's the Showboats Vice President of Team Business and Event Operations. You can follow Steve on Twitter at Steve Macy. Last week, you battled the elements and then some. This Sunday for the finale, it looks like you finally made a deal with the devil, Mother Nature. You gave up all your hair to have a beautiful day weather-wise.
See, we're going with bald jokes to begin the day. That's just sad. You went right to it to start.
Yeah, but you look good. The bald looks good.
I can get away with it.
All right, so beautiful weather.
Yeah, fantastic. 82 and sunny. Really excited. It's a great way for us to end the season. And look, in Memphis, only in the low 80s this time of the year. That's stealing.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's a perfect day for us. And we're continuing our things that Skipper, our mascot, started with kids 12 and under are free. We've got $2 hot dogs, $2 beers. And on 82 degrees at 2 o'clock, that sounds like a beer to me.
That is,
or two.
If you draw up perfect outdoor drinking weather, that qualifies.
That would be a pretty good one. I told the stadium, I said, look, I know we had a lot of weather last game. We had a 3-hour delay. We didn't sell a lot of beer. I think we will make up for it on Sunday with the 2 o'clock start in 82-degree weather.
Plus, even though you've been eliminated, we understand that Birmingham, Big Bad Birmingham, which has dominated the UFL. They have been the class of the league.
They've been the class of spring football.
They have.
Right? I mean, USFL before that.
Yes, and they come in having lost to you guys earlier this year. That was one of those overtime wins. And so fans not only can take advantage of those deals you talked about, beautiful weather, but watch the Showboats play against Birmingham, that rivalry and all that. So it really, I think the complete picture is good for hopefully what will be the best crowd, get people out there, and even though it's the last game, Steve, again, get them acclimated to what's going on and what will continue to go on in the future in that Showboats football in Memphis.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing is here's an opportunity for us to sweep Birmingham. And I think there's a good chance of that, really, because I think Birmingham already knows they're hosting a playoff game next week against Michigan. This might not matter as much to them. Now, knowing their head coach that this will matter because he does not like losing to Memphis at all. If you remember last year or 2 years ago when they came in at the end of the game, their quarterback was wearing one of our captain's hats. So they embrace this rivalry just as much as we do locally. It's also a chance for the Showboats to win 3 of the last 5 games. And I think that's kind of been lost a little bit in how this season has gone with 2 head coaches, 3 different starting quarterbacks, a bunch of close losses. He lost to Houston twice by 1 point. Several other games were right down the wire in terms of the last possession. And so it's been very, very competitive. It's been tumultuous, but it's been competitive. And so I think this is a chance to show that and build on next season. I think Jim Turner is a guy I'd love to see to come back as our head coach. I think he's done a wonderful job keeping promises with the players, especially the quarterback position. He told all 3 guys they'd get a chance to play. And I think he's done a wonderful job holding himself accountable to that.
There has been a lot of talk about the future of the league. They admitted that they were looking at expansion possibly for next year or whatever, all of these things. What do people look at some of these markets and the attendance in the markets, and Memphis is included in that, but it's not just Memphis, it's really all of these markets, when you quite get down to it, other than St. Louis, have struggled meeting what they would like for attendance. But what is... what? And I don't know if they tell you anything, but what is the next step? Is there expansion for next year? What is the future for the UFL?
So right now, it's the ownership board is going to be getting together here in the next week or so and just talking about the future, from budgets to how many teams are going to be in the league, what's the right mix. All of those things are coming up, and I think most things are on the table. We've seen a couple reports of people guessing of, hey, this team's going to go to Boise, or this is the other expansion. And I think people are guessing. That's okay. That's speculation stuff. I think Memphis being in trouble is really not on the table. I just think that's one of those things that people like to throw around. Birmingham's been thrown around, 3-time champion. Come on, they're not going anywhere. So I think there's just a lot of speculation. And when things aren't going as well as you like, people are throwing things at the wall. And right now, we know spring football is returning next year. I know the Showboats coming back. We don't we're not going to announce anything because you don't start announcing one thing and then not another. Then people start speculating on other things. So I think the next step is they look at the future and how this looks going forward. We know that we have TV partners next year in Fox and Disney, that they're going to continue to be our TV partners. We know we've got my job. We know we have the things in Arlington with the 3-year lease on the space for the league itself. So all of this stuff it's a lot of speculation just because things haven't been perfect, right? We haven't had the attendance we want and the revenue we want, for sure.
The funny thing, too, is a lot of the stuff about Memphis came out after last week's game, and people looked at the crowd. Yeah, that was a 3-hour delay. And let me tell you, when the game started, I don't know that anybody believes it was going to be just played without any issues at that point.
When I got up and I looked at the radar, and I went, oh, crap. You got to be kidding me. That thing looked like a bullet with a back tail, like a rocket going through space as it was coming at us. And I said, there's no way we're starting at 11 o'clock. And we were right. And that's anytime you have a delay like that, you're going to have a massive attendance issue. And yes, those people that were reporting what a terrible attendance we had for that game,
they probably didn't even realize it was delayed.
Either that or they were doing it intentionally, right?
Yeah. Sometimes they didn't need to do that.
It was just let's take a shot because they want to get clicks. I think a lot of this is you're seeing some smaller writers that are trying to get clicks, and I think that was an opportunity to do that. And they intentionally left out that it was a 3-hour delay from a massive
because they could show
storm.
a picture of the crowd, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, look, there's nobody there," or whatever.
Right.
Well, that again, and now again, we were sitting that part like we were all looking like when we're like 2 o'clock, like. We're gonna. This thing isn't gone by 2. Now, I'll give the meteorologist credit. They nailed it. I don't know how, but they absolutely nailed it.
They told us to start at 1:30. They said, you'll be fine. Start at 1:30. And we were on the phone with Daryl Johnston. I said, Daryl, I'd much rather just start at 2 and be completely safe, right? And he goes, I completely agree. And so we ended up just deciding, let's go 2 o'clock. And the ABC ESPN meteorologist was dead on. We'd have been perfectly fine at 1:30. But we just decided we did not want to get a situation. We started that game after delaying that much and then having to delay again just to restart. So, yeah, it was 2 o'clock.
Yeah, look, last week was crazy. And to write a story about that is ridiculous. But we don't want to push aside that there's still issues. There needs to be bigger crowds, and I don't understand. I still think it's a very good game of football that they play. It's not the NFL, but there's players that have played in the NFL and players that will play in the NFL. And we always love football, at least I do. So having some spring football, I like it. So I like the idea of it. I just don't know why it hasn't resonated. I think it's a combination of things. The team has not been that good. I think if this team takes the steps that they're moving forward with this year, like you said, trying to win 3 out of 5 to wrap up the season, sweep Birmingham, you take that momentum into the offseason. Now, names change, and who knows if Turner will be back. But I still go back to the pod in Arlington. You said there still is a 3-year deal, so next year will be the 3rd year?
No, just in terms of they bought some new office space for the league headquarters.
Okay, league headquarters are fine.
Right.
But when these teams eventually, and I hope it happens, go to their cities, I think it's a game changer.
It is. I think we know from year one of the Showboats that they were here in market. People saw them out. They were doing things all week long, like they're doing in Arlington. Like it's all of the teams in Arlington are doing stuff in the community there, which is awesome.
Right.
But they were doing it here.
Right.
Right. So we get an opportunity 5 times a year, and we're working this as a league, saying, okay, Greg, you mentioned some of the things that are wrong. The team hasn't been overly competitive. I don't think we've done a good job of making sure people know how much fun the games are. I was talking to our contact at FedEx last night. We took the mascot and a couple staff members and went to the sorting hub twice yesterday for an hour and a half each time just to talk about the Showboats. It's hub day for them. Had a great time. And we were talking through some things, and she was saying that she had some friends that came to the 2 games ago, and her friend said, this is an absolute gem. My kids had a blast. They got their face painted. They played in the bounce houses. They kicked field goals and threw a football, and all the things and the concession prices. And the game was 3 hours, but when the kids got bored, they had stuff to do. She was like, this is the best deal around. How did I not know about this? And that's where I kind of look in the mirror and say, okay, we've spent a lot of time as a league promoting the football product. which I think is important. I think we still have people that go, the Showboats, is that football? Yes. That we have to remind them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have to focus here more on that game day atmosphere because it really is fun. And the league, when people from the league come in, they look around, they go, dude, there's not enough people here, but this is fun. You guys have the best game day atmosphere in the whole league, and I'm sitting there frustrated that there's not more people. But yeah, we take pride in that. Our games are a blast.
Is there a thought maybe for the future combining the football game and then maybe a concert pre-game?
I think there's always those things, Greg. It's a matter of cost, right? Are you going to generate enough ticket sales to cover that? And that's all the things that we're looking at. Is like, hey. We've talked about this before, but the sustainability of the league is the most important thing, and that's why the team's not here. Mm-hmm. They save so much money by having the 8 teams housed in Arlington and flying out together that right now we don't have enough revenue to say, let's move those teams to the market. Now, is it a chicken and the egg thing? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that is part of it, but at the same time, spring football is here to stay, and that's the first time we've ever been able to say that. I mean, spring football has failed over and over and over, and now we see it. It's growing. We're talking about expansion. We know we're coming back next year as the team leads at each of the 8 markets. We're working on budgets and themes for next year and staffing, and so we've stopped talking about this season already. And as of about a month ago, now we're talking about playoffs and those things, but for those of us who've been eliminated, all we're talking about is 2026.
Do fans email you or text you? Do they text the Showboats and say, this, I love this, or I don't like this, and can you bring this into play? Or, do they give suggestions?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's been my whole career. People have had suggestions.
Well, I know over at the university certainly, but what about what's their biggest issue?
Oh, I think they'd love to have the team here for one, and I think the winning piece is another part of it, right? It's how do we start getting some? I think we all would like to see a winning team and what the community would react to it. How the community would react to it. Would it be a tripling or quadrupling of attendance? I think so. I mean, I think we saw it with the Tigers and in kind of inverse order with basketball, and when they weren't competitive, it went down, and then when Penny was hired, it jumped back up. In football, I think we saw the same thing when it started getting competitive with Fuente and then Norvell. We saw those numbers really rise quickly, and so I still feel like Memphis loves a winner, and I'd like to see what we can do with one.
Yeah, I would love to see what it is. If you just said this team had done what Birmingham has done and won the championship every year. No, you have to go to that level, but I would just like to see. You'd say this team's won the championship every year of spring football. What attendance would be here?
Yeah, I think I think the way we have the stadium configured, where we're basically 8,000 seats in the lower bowl, I think we'd be pretty close to making that look really, really full every game. It would be a lot. It's already a really loud stadium, even with the few thousand that we have. You put a full loop around and everybody's in there, it'll be a blast.
And to your point, there's not any person I've talked to who has gone to a game and said they didn't enjoy it. They all say it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. That we have a good time. And hey, listen, $2 beers can make it a better time.
But even before we went with that, we had $5, for beers, and so it's
very reasonable.
I know some people that go to I see them all the time. They go to every single game, and they're we love it. We absolutely love going to these games because it's just it's a lot of fun to go out there and do it.
Look, I'm not going to tell people what to do with their expendable dollars for fun, what they do for entertainment, but I want to challenge. I want to challenge the people. I want to see our city, no matter what it is. Especially with sports, look good. Look good on television. You're not going to get a sellout, certainly not now, but Sunday's going to be beautiful weather, as we talked about. You talked about the deal, Steve. Under 10 is you get
12 and under is
12
free.
And under is free.
And that's I want to promote the PGA Championship a little bit. The FedEx St. Jude is because Joe Tomac has been a partner of ours.
Joe's a great guy,
and they have kids 15 and under free get into that event, and it's been forever. And I had no idea. And so as we were talking, he says, "Hey, why don't you let me sponsor your kids 12 and under free?" He goes, "I'd love for you to do 15." And the league said 12. And he's like, "That's fine." And I'm so appreciative that he decided to join us so that we could that we could jointly making up new words today. You guys could write this down in the dictionary.
Hey, we started the day with spelling bee, so it's all right.
Well, that's great. So that we could jointly talk about this here's two properties that are very unique. There's only 3 playoffs in the PGA. There's only 8 of us that are playing spring football, and that is a huge privilege for our city. I think it's something that as people are looking to move into Memphis or to stay in Memphis, those type of events are a popular thing, and it's an important thing. So I'm appreciative of him supporting that. But yeah, that kids 12 and under being free is a big deal, and then the $2 concessions is also there.
Look, test it out. It's your last chance this season to test it out on Sunday, and then let us know what you think on Monday. Hopefully,
and
it'll be
how
a nice
do people
crowd.
get tickets?
So you can either come to the gate and get them there, which is right there at gate 1 as you come in. That opens at about 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock for the 2 o'clock kick. And then you can go to uflshowboats.com, uflshowboats.com, and all the information is there.
Steve, thank you so much. Best
Guys,
luck.
appreciate you. Thanks for having me on so much this year, and go Boats.
And I've got some free tickets that I'm going to be giving away here before.
Those
we
are
end the
cheaper
show.
than going
That's
online.
even better. That's even cheaper than the beer, which is hard to do, but it's cheaper than the beer.
He's Steve Macy, Showboat's Vice President of Team Business and Event Operations. Follow him on Twitter at Steve Macy. We'll take our final time out of the show. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Well, there's some things about the Rendezvous I'm going to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to doors. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. But we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear. Please listen carefully for our menu listing. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it back. Come see us at the Rendezvous. Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
K4 SEL 39894, MSRP 25840, K5 S5312782, MSRP 29330, Telluride SG 597 965, MSRP 43410, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, must finance through KFA, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 6/2/25.
Hey, Jeff Allen, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, the scoop is you get a 2025 Kia K4 LXS for less than a latte a day at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Less than $6 a day at $169 a month. Plus a 2025 Kia K5 GT line, $185 a month. Got a big family? 2025 Telluride EX front wheel drive sits 8 and has more power and larger cargo area than a Nissan Pathfinder. That's 2025 Telluride EX, $378 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Witten Road.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Davis. Now, if you're looking for tires at a great price, Raleigh Tire has got you covered with national brands like Common
this hour. Brought to you by Travis Floors. Once again, Greg Gaston.
So I mentioned I do have some tickets for the Showboats game on Sunday, and gave away 4 earlier. Give away 4 more. 360-8255. 360-8255. First caller, 4 tickets for Sunday's game. I mean, if you get free tickets and $2 beers and hot dogs, I mean, you talk about an affordable day of entertainment.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could make it a $10 day and have a great time. But 4 free tickets. And again, kids 12 and under are free. So if you have kids who are 12 and under, you don't have to use these 4 tickets for them. You can get their own tickets for free. 360-8255. 360-8255. 4 tickets for Sunday's game. And again, they will be sent to you. You don't even have to come pick them up. They will be sent to you digitally, either email or your cell phone. Either way, all you got to do is call in, claim the tickets, and they will be sent to you.
We have our winner. Thank you. That was quick. Major League Baseball news. Chris Sale.
Elijah, if that other caller wants 4 tickets, I'll give them 4 tickets also.
Oh.
That other caller there, if they want 4 tickets, I'll give them 4 as well.
All right. For Major League Baseball, Chris Sale, who is obviously a Hall of Fame pitcher, the reigning National League Cy Young Award winner, he became the fastest pitcher in Major League Baseball history to reach the 2,500 strikeout milestone, breaking the record previously held by Hall of Famer Randy Johnson. On his final pitch last night, Sale struck out Edmundo Sosa of the Phillies to end the 6th inning for his 2,500th victim. Wasn't Sosa a Redbird? Wasn't he on that 2017 team? Because he ended up playing with the Cardinals and then traded to the Phillies. But anyway, he struck him out, his 2,500th victim. The Braves left-hander reached the milestone in 2,026 innings. That bested Johnson's record of 2,107 and 2/3 innings in 1999. Man, Chris Sale has been absolutely terrific. You know what else is terrific? Dinstall's. Dinstall's fine candies and chocolates for over 122 years. They've been making those delectables. And right now, they got a summer sizzler deal going on. Pecan rolls, man, I love those. 2 for $1. So 2 for the price of 1 at any of the 5 convenient locations of Dinstall's. Those delicious pecan rolls. Also, the chocolate-covered raspberries are back, and nobody dips them like Dinstall's. They're located in Collierville, in Germantown, downtown Memphis, also in East Memphis and Laurelwood. And the factory, I'm forgetting the address now.
Pleasant View.
Pleasant View, thank you. Pleasant View is where they make the candy. So 5 locations, you can pick up Dinstall's at your convenience, and you can take advantage this weekend of the Summer Sizzler deal, 2 for $1 pecan rolls at Dinstall's, putting smiles on people's faces for over 122 years. All right, so Knicks Pacers, one of the big events this weekend. It's not a huge weekend in the world of sports, but you have the baseball regionals getting started today, so a lot of college baseball this weekend. You have the NBA Finals, as I said, halfway set. And will it be completely set tomorrow in Indianapolis? Do the Pacers get it done, or do the Knicks force a Game 7?
Pacers.
Do they have the spread out on that game yet?
I'm sure they do.
Let me see. So tomorrow, Indiana's a 3.5-point favorite, 7 o'clock on TNT, and you can watch the Pacers and the Knicks. If the Knicks can get it done and force a Game 7, that'll be Monday night at the Garden. That is going to do it for us today. I want to thank you folks for listening. All your calls, your texts, we always appreciate you. Some have been around since we went on the air over 20 years ago. And for others that are new, thank you. We appreciate you giving us an opportunity to listen to the program. Thanks to our great guests, John Varlas, Brandon Marcello, Brad Logan, and Steve Macy. Wolo is back. It's Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, and he is coming up next. We will talk again on Monday, starting bright and early at 7 a.m. For Eli Savoy and Elijah Seegers, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody.